he watches TikTok.
Oh my
like
fucking,
all the time.
Hold on, how old is Scott?
He's like 50, 55.
Oh, what the fuck?
He's a grandfather of like, I think last week he became a grandfather of 11.
Are you telling me this 50-some-odd-year-old grandfather Sawyer man memes on you from TikToks?
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh my
He will
God.
like make references to TikToks, and I'm like, dude, what the hell?
I can see you just like casually walking by or having lunch, Scott eating a sandwich. Man, this bussin' you. What the fuck was that?
Please tell me he doesn't Fortnite dance on you.
No. So
Pardon me, Phil. I have to floss.
No, so it's more like whenever we send text messages to each other, they're like really short and just to the point. It's like, hey Phil, go do this, or like, hey Scott, where's this?
No
at?
chaff. Just do this and that's it.
Yeah, but like whenever we respond to each other, like he'll hit me with like the OK symbol, like the first finger and thumb like held together with the three fingers sticking up, and I'll like respond with like the thumbs up, and like half of our conversations are that.
Just emojis.
Yeah, no, like I kid you not.
I do have to ask,
and he'll like occasionally hit me with lol.
Okay, as this is gonna sound shitty, but I just have to ask: how long has it been since you've done actual work? Because I know like the FEMA grant is getting ready to come through. But so have you really just been sitting on your ass in the shop for 2 months doing basically fuck all?
Not quite. We had a tornado blow through, and we were helping clear up with that. Which for that, my job was mostly just monitoring traffic and making sure a car wasn't gonna like come over a hill going 50 and a 30 and go face first into a fucking mulcher head. Yeah, because it's one of those country back roads where like the speed limit
goes
is just
fast as shit.
The speed limit is just a recommendation.
Yes, Mitchell.
Well, welcome to Lorecast Eternals.
Oh god, yeah. Damn it, Mitchell, you pulled a sneaky on me. Welcome to Lorecast Eternals, everyone.
Have you noticed if you're still here and wondering why we sound oh so more sexy?
We sound silky smooth.
Yeah. Oh, we're gonna lose 5 people off of that one.
Gotta hit him with a.
But yeah, no, we finally I finally figured out how to do the new sound setup.
Yeah, we are officially on a new sound setup with mics and pop filters and everything.
We have gone from one singular like
rinky dinky fucking like.
Well, it's not rinky dinky. It's a blue mic. Like those aren't bad, but like we went from one singular blue mic that we all sat around like Indians doing drum and or Native Americans
cavemen around the fire.
Drum, and we have now gone to 3 actually nice mics with a nice soundboard on a plastic fold-out table.
On a really shitty,
with a dick drawn on it.
There's a dick drawing there.
It's ejaculating. It's all a great time. There's a lot of yellow over there from the drill fist, orange over here.
Oh yeah, because I like spray painted the shit out of this. No. So Mitchell like straight up stole this from one of his old roommates because like they forgot it was there, and he was just like, "I'm gonna take this," and nobody said no. Yep. And so then I was like, "Oh, cool. So you like don't give a shit about this?" So I used it to prime a bunch of Imperial fists.
Wow.
And then he showed up and he was like, "Bro, why is my table yellow?" Like, I don't care, but like, dude.
That's why it looks like there's a bunch of aggressive banana hate fucking over here.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Real quick before we continue, I do want to say that, like I said, we are finally on our new sound system, and we have very front-facing mics, so to kind of help with noise cancellation and whatnot, and we're all getting used to it. So if for whatever reason we start sounding like this, which I'm assuming is going to sound very quiet, it's because we're not like facing our mic. And
We're not kissing our pop filters.
Yeah, we're still working on getting all the kinks worked out.
Yeah, and so if for whatever reason we start sounding like this, it's because I have the pop filter in my fucking esophagus right now.
It sounds like whenever I eat the mic.
Oh yeah. So I'm
gonna watch that now.
This episode,
yes, you probably should. You don't know where my mouth is.
You've shoved that in your mouth like 4 times. So, but yeah. So this episode,
my strong recommendation to you is like put like a mark or something on this so you know it's mine. So like none of you have to deal with this. Because like
with saliva.
Yeah, I might be giving y'all herpes tonight.
Oh,
if
lovely.
You share my mic. Don't share mics, kids.
Wait a minute. You don't have to clap anymore. It's okay.
I never had the clap in the first place.
Welcome.
So anyway, but yeah.
Dicks.
So these
yeah, I love how it's like I never had the clap in the first place, and they're sitting there and they're just like, yeah, we're gonna like stay quiet now and make it sound like we're just like totally
we're
way to
joking.
make it sound very
Philip
suspicious.
doesn't have the clap. He clearly has gonorrhea.
Oh yeah, totally.
But yeah, so these next 2 episodes might sound a little rough as well. We're getting used to these mics and whatnot. So, Be nice.
That
to
totally doesn't sound rough. We're actually very silky smooth. People actually don't have to listen to me trying to yell 3 feet into a mic.
Right.
It's actually my normal voice now.
That being said, if we do fuck up the sound, while we ask you to be nice, if you feel the need to like completely and totally destroy our self-esteem and like make us call you daddy, we get it.
Just join the Discord.
Just join the Discord and just shit on us constantly.
Yeah. When I was part of this, well, no, wait a minute. My cat got into the bread earlier this week.
Oh yeah, me and Phil like
This
aggressively
little shit got into the bread again.
we aggressively memed on you for like an hour.
It was great.
I just remember the first time Lotta had to come stay at your house, and we warned you
and that little
like,
hoe
she
got in
ate
my
the
bread.
Yeah, no, we warned you like she was gonna eat the bread, and you were like, okay, yeah, sure.
Well, no,
and then literally
it wasn't
within
that
like
she
the
ate
first
my
30
bread,
minutes,
she opened my pantry.
Oh, that's what she did to my
bread. And then she hopped into the top shelf of my pantry and then dug behind all of the shit that was in front of the bread to then eat the bread and then hop out without disturbing anything. And then she closed the pantry door. And I was like...
And it was like within the first like 2
what
hours of
the
her
fuck?
being there.
Yeah, no, 100%.
And she chewed through the plastic to get to the bread, too.
I'm still partially convinced that it's not really the bread she's after, it's the plastic.
No, it is the bread, because one day I found the whole of like that much missing bread. It's the bread.
He's making a hole with his fingers approximately 6 inches in diameter.
Yeah.
This cat walked into that house and she was like, I'm here for your bread.
So I had to go spend $25 on a bread box, which at Target when it rung up was like $50, and I was like, "Hey, Target assistant, this was not labeled as $50." And then she was like, "Well, it comes up as $50." And I was dressed really nice that day, and in my mind, that's the way I like to think. It's like, you're pretty cute. I just bring it down to 25. Self-esteem boost to myself. Yeah, it was really good.
Totally wasn't the fact that she didn't want to deal with a Karen, because that's what you looked like.
Dude, I was angry. I was like, I had to go spy a bread box because my cat lusts for bread.
Fucking offended.
I'm just waiting for the day she figures out how to open up the bread box. Because I tried
will
that.
laugh
There's
my
not much
ass
retention
off.
on
That
that.
cat will not have
You're
paws.
gonna wake up one day with an intense craving for toast. You're gonna open that bread box and Lotta's gonna be in there just, oh no.
Yeah, no, because I saw that bread box and I was immediately like, I gotta try this, and I opened it up and I was like, that doesn't have nearly enough retention on it. The second she figures out how to open that, you're fucked.
Oh yeah, I am. But hey, it will be at least 6 months, and that's okay.
Bro, I wouldn't count on that.
Jesus Christ.
Like that cat can sniff out bread in like the middle of a fucking sewage.
I can see Lotta walking, just go, yes, 12 grain bread.
Yes.
My favorite.
Wonder Bread, get the shit out of here.
Leave the shitty Wonder Bread out for bait. Leave the good stuff hidden away.
You have to put it in your fucking walls and shit, like just to keep it from her.
Shall we do our announcements now?
Yes, we do have a couple big ones. So
First one,
Wait. Did we introduce ourselves again?
we have to, yes, because of different mics, different noises. Hi, my name is Mitchell.
I am Miguel.
I sound really different now, don't I?
I am Miguel.
Do you realize Miguel was my gay uncle's boyfriend?
I am your gay uncle's boyfriend.
This
I know what I said.
This is interesting.
All right then.
I am Jacob. Nice to see you all again.
I am Phil.
But yeah, so we have some announcements. First off, Mitchell, I do believe you moved because we are in your new apartment right now currently.
Yes, it's great. Y'all had to drive 90 miles to get here, which, I'm just gonna say it's
big price of gas.
yeah.
So
I
paid $20 and didn't even fill half a tank.
Hey, buddy, I drove that distance back and forth every single day for 2 months.
You make significantly more
guys.
than I do. Let's not talk about
Can we
that.
not talk about gas? I don't want to fucking cry again today. Like it's miserable.
Yeah, it's almost up to $4 a gallon
like,
here.
bruh.
Yeah, I finally fill up once every 2 weeks now instead of once every 2 days, and it's wonderful.
Yeah. No, I fill up when I'm not having to drive to Austin or Hutto or whatever every weekend. I usually only fill up about once every 2 weeks. Once a week, once every 2 weeks. Because work is 10 miles down the road from me.
Yeah.
If that much.
So yeah, Mitchell moved. We got all that done, figured out. Secondly, as you notice, we are not doing this on Thursday. We're doing it on Saturday because
It'll probably be out on Sunday, but yeah.
Yeah. We wanted to give Mitchell a little time to get his stuff set up, and he did that pretty quickly. But we also decided that we were going to move the podcast to Saturday.
Yeah, it can't be Friday because somebody does D&D and Dark Heresy on those days.
I think you mean both of us, and like, don't hit us with that bullshit because you do too.
Listen, you curly-haired fuck. I tried really hard.
Hey, I don't do D&Ds on Friday anymore because Dan, the man, is got a new job, so he can't.
Oh, what's he doing now?
He's a waiter at Chili's.
Hi, welcome to Chili's.
But yeah, no, he does that and go to full.
Bro, our sound waves even look the same.
Yeah, he does that and goes to college full time. So
fuck, really? So
What's
he
he
has a
going in
full
for?
schedule then.
I don't know, but I'm his proctor for all of his tests. Yeah, I don't proctor those tests.
Wait,
What do you mean you're the proctor for all of his tests?
It's weird. Like when he does his test, like I'm supposed to like proctor him. I just send him the link that the university sends me the email about when they needed to like do the test.
No, wait, I'm confused.
It's an online college.
How did you become the proctor for him specifically? Did you,
He probably recommended someone.
No, Daniel was like, "Hey, you want to be my proctor?" And I was like, "I know exactly what you're asking, and yes, I will not pay attention to your test taking skills."
feel free to fuck off. So when did he decide to go full time into student?
I think he's just sick and tired because I know he was part time for a while, but I just think he's like, yeah, I'm just tired of college. I just need to get it done.
Yeah, that's
So
kind of
you're
where
trying.
I'm at too. Like, I was looking at how many college credits I have and my lack of a degree, and I was like, I am literally like one class away from an associate's.
You might as well get it.
Yeah, no, I need to call up the people down the road and figure out what I need to do to complete an associate's.
And associates in what?
2 years.
Computer science.
Nice.
Which that would help you out a whole lot.
Yeah, well, because then what I can do is I can, whenever I get tired of Sawyer work, I can basically just go to
IT?
Carrie and
Stay
be
in
like,
the county
hey,
and just switch jobs, but
yeah.
stay in the county.
Well, yeah, no, because the cool thing about that is that since it's county to county, they don't necessarily have to do the whole job posting thing.
Nice. Would you keep? Oh, that was my book. I'm sorry. Would you keep your benefits and whatnot too?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm staying in the county.
Oh, that's dope as fuck.
Yeah, I'm literally just going from
By the way, remember your retirement also transfers from county to other counties as well.
yeah, and technically I also get my state time counts towards that as well.
Yep.
Well, and
I just like haven't reported it because like 3 years of service at less than $15 an hour means like, or I didn't contribute to retirement, so technically my time contributes, but yeah, it's weird. I was basically just like, I'm just not going to count that because that'd basically be 3 years that don't get 3 years that get counted towards my retirement that I wasn't actually contributing. So when I get vested after like 5 years, it's basically nothing.
It doesn't even matter in the first place, but yeah.
Okay.
It's all about when
Thanks
you...
for letting me ramble about nothing, man.
It's about when you can retire from the county. That's when that state service matters.
Right, because our retirement is specifically through the county.
I can
yes.
retire from the city of Bryan at the age of 40.
Bro, that's pretty hot.
that's pretty fucking hot.
Yeah, it's great.
Anywho, moving forward, so podcasts are going to be on Saturday now, and if I can get my D&D and Dark Heresy moved so Mitchell won't bitch at me about it, it might get moved to Fridays.
I don't know. I think I like my Fridays open because I go to downtown and I go get drunk.
You did
Counteroffer.
not give me shit on the phone to fucking say that right now.
Well, hold up.
You motherfucker.
Hold up. No,
Yes,
no.
I did.
Counter.
All right, podcaster, I'm beating this fucker with my book or that plate.
Counter
Son of a bitch.
Counter offer. We come down Friday anyway, and then we all go out and get sloshed,
And do it
and then we do podcast on Saturday morning.
Bro,
Sounds like
you
great
guys
time.
get me fucked in public, go for it. It's yet to happen.
So Mitchell, I get like paid like next week. So,
I normally don't have enough money
as
to
long
get
as
I
like,
got paid this Friday, so
so like what I'm hearing is here in like maybe sometime around late May we collectively get like $2,000 together and then just make this man get sloshed.
Christ.
oh yes, we're doing it.
Excellent.
My anus, it quivers. So yeah,
We're gonna find that limit, big boy.
podcast on Saturdays now. Next is the giveaway.
Yes.
We are quickly approaching 10,000. I put a post out on Instagram. I believe Mitchell put a post out on Twitter.
The words I used on Twitter was we are crawling ever so closely to 10,000.
And I need to get on Facebook because I've been, for as little work as I've been doing in the past couple months at work, this last week has actually been like a bunch of maintenance.
Just try to get it up like tomorrow. And,
Yeah.
But yeah, so we put the word out, and we are quickly encroaching to 10,000 downloads. I think we're at like 9,650 right now, or something like that.
Yeah, so we will. It will definitely happen between the 2 weeks of this podcast and the next episode.
Oh, almost 100% positive.
And so
it will.
what we've decided is that I think we've said this before, but we're going to go ahead and do our selection through Discord.
Yes.
So we're going to create a channel on Discord, and all you have to do is post a picture of a model that you have built and painted yourself. Doesn't have to be necessarily all that pretty. We're not even necessarily looking for battle ready.
A singular blue liberator is also acceptable.
Yes. Yes.
Singular blue liberator. But like, just post your favorite model that you've worked on. Even if it's still like a work in progress, we just want to see that you're participating in the hobby and that you're enjoying what you're doing.
I think we're just really interested to see what you guys are up to.
What's your favorite thing that you've done?
What you doing?
My favorite thing I ever painted was in 40K so far, and it's a singular arm of a broodlord.
Nice.
Good ass arm though.
It's a really,
I've seen that
it's a
arm.
really sexy
wait,
arm.
do we want to restrict it to 40K or to the AOS, or do we want to do AOS or 40K?
I'd prefer AOS. If you sneak a 40K in there, I won't raise too many questions. Just make sure that you do go ahead and post it. And if you want to tell us a little bit about the model and like what you're working on and like what kind of army this is going to go into, all the better. And we're going to just go ahead and pick from there. So if you don't post, you won't be in the running. But we will be posting Discord links in all of our social media and whatnot whenever we make posts about this, to go ahead and make it easier for people to find us. And of course, the links are always the link to the Discord is always going to be in the
description on Podbean and Spotify, all that shit.
Yep.
Yeah,
and also, just in case y'all had forgotten, the prize for this giveaway is going to be a start collecting kit of your choice. I think we limited it. It has to be a start collecting kit for AOS, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's going to be run through Bastrop Games and Hobbies,
Our beautiful sponsor, our friendly local game store. Well,
my boy Jay coming through.
local for you, Mitchell.
It's local. It's local in his heart.
He still makes the hour and a half drive to go there.
You see that? I got those flower tufts over there. They're not grass tufts.
Excuse
Flower
you.
tufts.
I got the flower tufts.
Yes,
Thank
I got
very
you to
much.
get those for me, and I bought your dinner.
Okay, that's fair.
But yeah, so it's sponsored through Bastrop Games and Hobbies, and also once again, if y'all place an order through Bastrop Games and Hobbies online, and you drop that, and if you drop Lorecast Eternal's name, I forget how you do it through there.
No,
just call them a call.
Oh, give them a call. If you give them a call and you say that like you came here from Lorecast Eternals, you'll get 10% off of whatever your
And
purchase
just
is.
be aware, like you can ask for the bundles that they go on, because I think
Jay
they have a
usually-
20% bundle going on if you want to start an army. Which
I'm
Yeah,
not
they
sure if
pretty
they're
consistently.
still doing that, but Jay pretty consistently will do bundles. So just whenever you give him a call, go ahead and ask him, hey, you got any bundles or specials that you're running right now on anything? Because they don't just do Warhammer; they also do Dungeons and Dragons and things like that.
They do a bunch of board games. Like I'm a big fan of Settlers of Catan, and they have like that in all of their.
I think it like back when Jay
shit.
first got Settlers in, I think he was running a special that you could basically get like a bunch of different expansions for Settlers for like a certain amount off if you bundle them together.
What's that Marvel game that you play them with models?
Oh yeah, Crisis Protocol.
They do Crisis Protocol, all kinds of shit. So now I will say, if
Blood Bowl is
if you
another one they
purchase
do.
something, or if you purchase something that's bundled, I don't know if the Lorecast 10% will still include if the percentage it's off is over the 10%. So if you want to get some D&D shit and it's 20% off, I don't know if the 10% will stick.
Yeah.
But realistically, when you call
Either way, you call them and they'll
to
let
Jay
you know.
and just ask, and
Yeah. You call them, they'll let you know. Jay is never afraid to go ahead and tell people, exactly what kind of deals he's running. All of my experiences with Bastrop Games and
Extremely
Hobbies has
pleasant.
been extremely pleasant and extremely upfront. They let you know exactly how they're doing things, and they're all above board, which is better than I can say for some other places that I've been.
Yeah. No, it's a great place, and Jay really comes through for us.
Yeah.
either way,
And I think the fact that we're going ahead and like letting him sponsor us says a lot.
Like
about his
Mitchell
character,
was
so.
trying to talk,
Yeah,
and
no,
Phil was
screw
like,
you, Mitchell, you don't get to talk.
hey, we are covering Seraphon this episode.
Yeah, we are. Hold on. Do we have anything else to talk about announcement wise? I wanted one more thing about the giveaway. If you partake, if you go on the channel and drop your photo and shit, and we contact you and say that you've won. If you do not get back to us within a week, we might just select someone else. Because
we want to limit it to United States only?
Oh, that'll have to be a Jay question.
I don't know. We have a couple people that are outside, and I really don't want to.
I don't want to
If
limit
worse
it,
comes,
but I'm not sure if
it
Jay
is-
ships internationally.
if worse comes to worse, we can pick it up and then we can ship it,
Yeah.
which will cost money. I know, but like, I'm kind of okay with paying that price because I don't want to limit anyone just because of where they live.
Yeah, because I know last time we did limit it, and I felt very bad about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? While we're sitting here,
We
let
were
me go
all-
ahead and
we were-
shoot Jay a message
And just double check that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, as you double check that, welcome to the Seraphon episode. We're going to talk about demon lizards.
I'm having a stroke. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
There was something else I wanted to say about the announcements, and I am just having a stroke.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, this is
It wasn't you first
This
this
is
time.
so painful.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, this is great.
God, there is.
I love the face that you're
Oh
making.
no! Fuck no! There was something else important that I wanted to say, and I'm just so coming up short. What the fuck? Everyone, sit here in complete silence. I must think.
Potatoes.
Why? Why would you do this?
Well, look, if it's important, it'll come back to you.
Yeah, I think it just had something to do with something.
Yeah.
Something to do about nothing.
We're 21 minutes into this now.
We are
Oh,
doing
God.
Seraphon today.
Yeah.
My glorious,
We went a bit-
glorious lizard boys.
we
We
went a
went
bit-
very off topic. We're enjoying the new mics.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we really are. We did like 30 sound checks, I swear.
Yeah, we did 30 sound
And
checks that
half of
spanned
them
over
were
like
us
an
just,
hour.
half of them were just us screeching.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like fucking mongoloids.
Oh yeah.
It's great.
We were doing our best Saurus impressions.
Why do
Tic-tac-toe?
why do I hear Jurassic Park in the distance?
No.
Oh, that is my favorite fucking meme.
Okay, no. On topic. Seraphon.
We're doing Seraphon. We can't do Flesh Eater.
What are
Corpse
those
again.
memes? Jurassic Park. Look it up. Anywho, yes, Seraphon, Starborn, Coalesced, Slan, Croak, all that good shit.
Yes.
And episode done.
That's it. Goodbye. And I actually have the codex.
Frogman.
So-
I
done.
actually have the codex with me here to kind of help us facilitate giving a little more knowledge and whatnot.
Seriously, let me ask you a
So-
question.
I'm gonna fucking hate this question, aren't I?
No.
Maybe.
No. You're not memeing.
Who
you're not
are the
memeing on me?
Seraphon and where do they originate from? Just to get you started.
Well, the Seraphon originate from my ass, and
Actually, I believe you meant to say the old one's ass.
yeah. So the Seraphon are the first children of the old one. And
Old one or old ones?
Old ones. The old
Okay,
ones.
so it's a
And-
race.
Yes.
Cool.
Which is actually funny. So really quick mini tangent. It's never like super specified, but in 40k, like the race that like made the Eldar and the orcs and all that shit in like the older lore, they're fucking Slan.
Yeah,
they
they're actually
look
called
just
Slan.
like Slan. I think they're called Slan too, right?
Yeah, they're called Slan, but that was in like OG Rogue Trader, and
Yeah.
they very quickly changed that.
All I'm saying is that the Seraphon made 40k, and like I will die on this hill. Anywho, so the origins of the Seraphon, like every race in AOS, dates back to the world it was, and we're gonna have to go into the world it was a little heavier in this one because like there's a lot of shit that happened in the world that was that really affects the Seraphon in AOS because the Seraphon are the only true survivors of the destruction of the world that was.
other than just like straight up gods.
other than the gods
and
Yeah.
the gods and like demons in the Skaven.
yeah.
Well, no. Also, like your demigods, so such things as like Neferata,
your
Arcan.
godlike beings.
Yeah. Yes.
They are the only race that still retain memories of the world that was that aren't demigods or godly in some way, shape, or form. Because I know you have some human souls that still have like kind of memories of the world that was, but it's really,
I think
it's
some of the
really it's really
Stormcast-
weird and kind of like it's like a reborn type thing. Where the Seraphon, like no, there are just straight like some Slan that have been alive since the world that was because all
Well,
Seraphon are immortal.
Let's be honest. Lord Croak stated in that little battle tome you got right over there.
Oh God, yeah. So yeah,
He came with the.
yeah,
Potentially.
Potentially, yeah.
This book insinuates so. Well, you know what? I'll get into that.
Okay. Yeah, let's go ahead and restart, but with the old,
So yes,
the old ones.
The old ones. So when the old ones descended upon the world that was, fuck, I forget the name of the planet.
It's currently called Malus.
Yeah, but well, that's like the core of the planet.
Yeah,
But yeah,
Malus, not Malus.
When the old ones descended upon the world that was and began like terraforming it and shit and making it a paradise world for things to live, their first children were the Lizardmen. That's what their OG name is. They're just the Lizardmen.
Very Aztec, South American.
Yeah, like Central South American theme, war paints. They have the
obsidian swords.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
or like the wooden sword with the jagged stones on them, all that
Blow
good
darts.
shit. Yeah, 100%. They're very Aztec-esque themed. And so the old ones made them. I don't necessarily know if it was in their image, but the old ones made them. And they were and they were made in Lustria. That was where they were like first created, or where they first really made their homes and cities.
Yeah, but
the jungles of Lustria.
They have kind of a curious thing, don't they, though? Because they don't, like, reproduce through, like, eggs or anything like that. They produce through like, breeding pools, right? Or spawning pools?
Yeah, and yes, you were very correct, and I'll get to that in a second.
I'm sorry. I thought that was the next thing to talk about. Because, like, the big question with, like, Space Marines is always,
we're just trying to contribute.
So,
yeah,
like,
it's like the
sorry.
Motherfucker, what? So it's like the second and next thing. So, like, the Lizardmen that were made, when the old ones first
like the first generation.
They're literally called the first generation. The first generation.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, and
that's simple. I like that.
And they were first born through spawning pools, and it's a little different in the world that was from when it is in AOS, because in the spawning pools it was very much like, oh yeah, like the genetic materials in here, and they kind of form like tadpoles or something like that, and then like depending on like how the spawning pools were like met or how they were cared for, what was put into them, it would shit out different types of lizardmen.
So it was basically like a massive genetic soup, and they would kind of just rise out.
If I am remembering correctly, yes, but it's been a long time since I've looked like hardcore into like that lore. I believe so, but it's very different AOS. And so the Lizardmen were born, and they were like the absolute fucking masters of magic, because the Lizardmen, they learned directly from the old ones.
Gotcha.
Like the old
so
ones.
they're built
so like the elves in the world that was, the Slan taught the elves magic.
Yeah, so they're a bit like the Eldari in 40k, and that like they are just like old
They
as
are
hell,
basically-
no like extreme amounts of magic.
They are basically 100% akin to that when it comes to like the first children of like the gods of that, or like the makers,
the creators.
of creation. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they learn beside the old ones, and I don't quite remember if the old ones also like made like elves and man and orc, or if they just kind of cropped up naturally after like the world was terraformed.
At the moment, that doesn't matter. All we know is they created.
Yes.
Yeah, the point is they made the Seraphon.
So
Yeah.
and everybody else came later.
Well, they made the Lizardmen, but then the Skaven blew up the world. They went up into the sky.
We'll get to that. Just don't even. It's a whole clusterfuck. So then demons happened.
Yep.
The old ones made this paradise world, and they infused it with magic and whatnot. And the demons were like, and that's basically what happened. Is demons ruptured forth, and then the old ones were like, and so when demons came forth, the Lizardmen were like, fuck those guys. And that is why, like, the Lizardmen...
Fuck demons. All my homies hate demons.
You have no fucking idea. Like, the Lizardmen are the penultimate, like, enemies of chaos. Even more than the Stormcast.
Okay.
Because for all the hatred that Sigmar and the Stormcast and humans have for the demons of chaos, the Lizardmen have had that hatred for far longer. And possibly deeper, because they basically watched the demons of chaos kill their dads. The demons that they killed / drove off the old ones. Like their creators that they had lived beside for however long were kerfuckled because of them, and the Lizardmen were like, oh hell no, fuck these guys.
And I took that personally.
They 100%. Okay, listen. When someone who literally can't die of natural cause takes that shit personally, they take it personally for a long fucking time.
Would you say it's a grudging?
Oh, it's worse.
Bitch, they wrote the book. When it comes to hating demons, they wrote the book. Almost every decision they make starts off with, will it fuck over chaos? And if it doesn't check that box, they're like, I don't know about that one, son. And so that's the origin of how they were made. And so like the old ones died or fucked off. I think they died, but I also don't know how clear they are versus like if they all died or if just like the most of them died. And
yeah,
then
this
fucked off to the sky.
So this is history that comes from the world that was. Warhammer Fantasy.
They keep that shit super vague.
Well, here's the other thing: is Warhammer Fantasy very much suffers from 40k syndrome, in that it's just been around for so long.
Because 40k and Fantasy
so many...
came around at the same time, right? Roughly
similar.
Fantasy was first, then 40k was
really
second. Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
so it's been around since like the mid 80s.
Yeah, and so it very much suffers from the 40k syndrome of like, we have 30 bajillion writers, and early on we wrote lore to be cool, not necessarily because we were planning on telling a story that would last for 40 years.
Yeah, and Fantasy got turned to AOS in 2015, so it was around for like 25, 30, 35 years, basically.
Yeah, I think it's like 30 years.
That lore was a lot easier to work with because it was one world. 40k was
40k was really groundbreaking when it came out, being like fantasy shit, but in like space, and like being sci-fi was very.
Well, let's go ahead and stay on track. Anywho. But that whole confusion of lore. Whereas in 40k, they're very much just like, okay, we're just going to like kind of broadly rewrite our history and make it all more streamlined. Warhammer Fantasy, they basically decided to just go ahead and end and reboot into AOS, which is why the lore going into AOS is a lot more detailed and a lot more specific.
Because they start, like, realistically, like, AOS lore is going to be so fucking pristine compared to 40k because they started in 2015, and by that time GW had really gotten their head out of their ass when it came to like having very clear-cut stories that don't really intersect with each other and don't fuck with like the continuity of the IP or the story they're trying to tell and things like that.
Yeah, or if they do, they're very good about having that carry over.
Also,
and then like hashtag Age of Reynolds.
Yes, because Josh Reynolds.
They have a couple of very talented writers.
Me
on
and the
team.
homies all love Reynolds.
But it was also one of the things is like with the Age of Sigmar, the lore is constantly developing.
Yeah, and that's the really cool thing is like, so they're developing the lore of AOS while it's being a popular game, because like back in the 80s, like 40k, and I don't think 40k were like they weren't near as popular as it is now.
Yeah,
so the lore can be really cool.
Tangent.
Yes, yeah, it's gonna happen.
But let's get back on track. So basically,
the old ones fucked off, right?
Yep.
And the Lizardmen, they developed their like hardcore grudge hatred of demons, and so then like the other races came along, and you have like the elves, and the elves they lived relatively close to the Lizardmen, so the Lizardmen like taught them magic and shit, and they would basically they consistently fought off demons.
Yeah,
like that was kind of what they did, and then Skaven. So the Lizardmen are very much like
get a little closer to the mic.
The Lizardmen are very much like cold-blooded logic. Like, I will sacrifice 1 million to save 1 billion. That is the essence of what they are.
Yeah.
So like from the outside looking in, they can seem really, really harsh and maybe to some even evil, because they're very much like, you don't fucking matter to me, but like the 13,000 I'll save because you die, that's what matters. Or like, you don't fucking matter because saving you will not fuck chaos over. Like, I only care about fucking over the plans.
It very much goes back
gods.
to that joke you made a few minutes ago about like, does this action screw over chaos?
Yes.
If it doesn't check the box, they ain't doing it.
Yeah,
like it goes back to that. Like we make a joke about it, but that's actually pretty accurate.
So along came the Skaven, and if there's one race that the Lizardmen might hate more than chaos, it's the Skaven.
Let's put it this way: if we don't count immaterial beings, the Skaven way up on the list.
No, yeah, because basically, like, so they look at demons. The Lizardmen look at demons, and they were like, "This is the penultimate enemy. This is like the consumer of worlds. This is what killed our creator. This is the great enemy." But when the Lizardmen look at the Skaven, they are like,
"What fresh?
Hitler did nothing wrong." That is their attitude. They are like, you are a stain on this world. Like, your race is like is disgusting. The genetics that combine to make you are a failure. Whatever forces combine themselves to make the Skaven were wrong.
Yeah.
Like, you are nothing but a blight. Nothing about you is good. Your entire race should be fucking genocided in like the most painful way possible. And the Skaven feel the exact same about the Lizardmen.
That's not surprising.
Like, they fucking hate the Skaven, and it's almost like their hatred is a little more like vile and like venomous towards the Skaven, because the Skaven are like always there.
Yeah,
like
whereas with the demons, they can kind of like beat the demons off and like get and win battles and things like that. But with the Skaven, they're just so prolific that it's like, oh, we killed like 1 million Skaven. Oh, look at that, they're back and twice as powerful.
I just want to say that Marathi beats demons off. The Lizardmen they don't beat demons off.
That's
you know what I fucking mean.
I'm gonna have sexual thoughts about that. Yeah, like you could fight demons and then like not see them again for like 400 years.
Yeah,
the Skaven are everywhere, constantly.
Yeah, and to a certain extent, it doesn't
I have
matter.
Skaven in my walls, probably.
It doesn't matter
Yes,
if
yes.
you kill like a great general or a great leader of Skaven, because the way the Skaven hierarchy works is there's always someone to take their place.
Yeah, like
the Skaven are kind of like Hydra in that sense from like the Marvel films, like where
You
one
basically
falls, two
can't
more
kill
rise
them.
to take its place.
Like, unless you, like, basically, like, because so the Skaven don't really exist in like the Materium and AOS, but back in the world that was, if you wanted to kill the Skaven, you had to destroy the world.
Yeah, you had to blow up the world.
Yeah, basically, that was the only way, because they were
The only issue is that the Skaven were doing that too.
Yeah, there were probably trillions of Skaven in the world that was.
Yeah.
Just because of how prolific they are. Anyway,
And then we get to how the Skaven destroyed the world.
moving on. So, during the end times, the Lizardmen, like, got fucked because, like, throughout the lore, the Lizardmen kind of took on this role of, like, the declining hero, or like not the hero, but like the declining empire. Like,
kind of like dwarves in Lord of the Rings.
Yes, they were like at the height of power, but then as time went on and they were slowly whittled down by, demons, by elves, by Skaven, by humans, by whatever forces, they slowly declined. And because the Lizardmen, they don't count years, they count decades, they count centuries. Like, a year is nothing to them because they don't die of natural causes. So, like, it's almost like they have this weird like apathetic look on reality when it's like, it doesn't matter what happens now, it matters what happens 50 years from now, or 100 years from now, or 1,000 years from now. That's what matters. So, like, they kind of enter this age of decline throughout the entirety of fantasy that culminated, thank you.
I wouldn't be able to say that word. Don't worry.
Yeah, that's why I didn't wait for you to try and chip
in the end times.
Because then we would have had two people having strokes.
So and obviously we've bitched about the end times many a time in this podcast.
And
so
we've talked about it.
I'm not really going to go over what the end times was because more or less
Skaven
everyone
blew
knows.
up the moon and dropped it on the planet.
Yeah, so in the end times happened,
And everybody died.
So the end times was basically like every single Skaven that exists ruptured from the ground, and the majority of them were in Lustria, fucking over the Lizardmen.
Yeah. So if you ever played Warhammer Vermintide, that's the end times.
It's that times cancer in the jungle.
Yeah.
And so the ploy was that the Skaven were gonna. Oh, also, quick side note: realistically, the Skaven and the Lizardmen are the two most technologically advanced races. I think that goes forward even in AOS. Like, so whereas the Skaven are technologically advanced because they have like miniguns and shit, the Lizardmen are more magically technologically capable, where it's like
the way that I have heard it explained is that they are so technologically advanced. It is very much one of those situations that you just think it's magic because their temples are literally spaceships.
Yes, and we'll get to that in a second. But just so y'all know, it's the two most technologically advanced races, like, going to war with each other. So, like, shit gets rotted. So the end times come, billions or trillions of Skaven are ripped from the ground, and their goal was basically to bring the moon, Morceleb, out of orbit and come crashing down on the planet because they were like, yes. Warpstone cheese.
Yes.
The moon,
Warpstone
Morceleb. I think Morceleb actually was like basically made of pure warpstone. I'm pretty sure, but they were like, yeah, we're gonna bring all this.
I just remember it had something to do with the birth of the Great Horned Rat.
Yeah, they were like, we're gonna bring down Morceleb and all this fucking warpstone, and we're gonna do shenanigans with it, and we're gonna like birth our god. They didn't really think about the fact that crashing a moon of the planet would kill everyone.
Yeah.
So like that's exactly what they do, and the Lizardmen are like, oh fuck, and so the Slan, which we'll go over like what the Slan are in a second, or
basically priests.
Yeah, basically they're the leaders of the Lizardmen. But the Slan are like, they're like the big magic boys. They were like, oh fuck, and they were like, they all basically went big brain moment to try to like stop the moon from happening, that from happening, and they failed.
Yeah.
A bunch of Slan died in the process. It was too much for their minds, and they just fucking died.
Can we have a moment of silence for Mazamundi?
Rip. Okay, moving on.
My heart aches. I am a shell of a man.
Well, that shell of a man needs to get his ass up and start continuing the
fucking chop
podcast.
you in the throat. But yeah, so basically they realized that they were fucked. Yeah. So they were like, fuck it, we're gonna eat. And that's when you learned that their temples were temple spaceships, because literally the end times happened, and the reason why the Lizardmen lived is because they all went into their temple cities, and the Slan launched those fuckers into space.
Which is pretty cool.
It's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
What makes it so hilarious and kind of mind-boggling is, like, they just did it with magic. It wasn't like they were great big thrusters. Basically, the Slan were like, and just big brained their fucking cities into the stratosphere.
Yep. Slan casts Yeet. It's super effective.
Yeah, basically. And so the moon crashed into Lustria, and it just on the impact.
That's the name that we were trying to.
It basically blew up half of the fucking planet. Ironically, it's not what destroyed the world, but like it
didn't help.
The world would have been destroyed, but still there. Whereas chaos just like vaporized the entire fucking thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they pulled the fucking moon into Lustria, and any lizardman that wasn't in space at that point fucking died.
Nakai, it's not dead.
So what's funny is also like basically they were just like, yes, some died, some were lost, and that's all they say. So like when you hear me bitch about Nakai the Wanderer not dying, it's because he was just lost, air quotes. That's kind of how they do it.
I still think he's walking around Malice.
I fucking hope so.
So that happens, and then we move into early AOS.
Not yet. Nope.
Oh,
Nope.
Oh.
I think so. I'm just gonna call this the age before ages, because the Lizardmen were just in space for like an indiscriminate amount of time.
Just angry. They were really angry.
Well, because I'm pretty sure all of them went into some form of like slumber, because like Croxigators and Saurus and shit, they will stay unmoving for centuries. So I'm pretty sure like basically everyone went into like some form of like magical lizard hypersleep.
I don't think the Slans did.
The Slan, I don't think they did either.
The Slans just sat there getting more and more angry.
Yes,
But the Slans are effectively immortal, so like it doesn't really matter.
Well, also, the Slan themselves, they would basically sit contemplating for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. So them staying awake for that long meant fucking nothing, because they were just like meditation time, and that's just what they did. So the Slan, the temple ships, were just like these hundreds or thousands or however many fucking temple cities there were just in space for a long ass time, long enough for the mortal realms to get created, and we've gone over how they get created.
I got something pretty cool about this when it comes to the actual Slan and how they found their way to Azir.
Dracothion. They
They were literally so angry that when Dracothion found one of these just floating spaceships in space, he was going towards it, and he felt the anger of the Slan.
He felt the rage and the loss, and not only that, he got a mental picture of how the world that was fell.
And he like just screamed in anguish. And the Slan, like the
Slan were like, mood kindred? And they were just like, plot course towards big space dragon.
And that's how they found themselves towards Azir, and that's where they settled.
Well, so what's funny is, so Dracothion roared, and they were like, go over there, because that was a roar. And Dracothion fucked off back to the mortal realms, crying silver tears for, like, what he had just witnessed, because he was like, oh my god, we've gone over this again, but once again, he was just like, oh my god, this is fucking miserable, and fucks off. And they were like, let's go follow that weird silver stars, which were just his fucking tears.
Yep.
And then they kind of just over into the mortal realms.
And then they settled
story.
into the skies of Azir.
Yes.
By which point, I think Sigmar was awake. Because Dracothion flees, and I think when he flees, he finds
Sigmar, I believe.
Sigmar
So
on
yeah,
Malice.
so that's technically the age before ages. So yeah, the Sigmar waking up and the Lizardmen getting to the mortal realms all happen at about the same time.
Well, we say the same time. It's important to note that this could have been literally thousands of years, because they don't. The Age of Myth does a very excellent job of telling you what happens, but not the time period.
For all we know,
and that is on purpose.
Yeah, for all we know, Dracothion going back to the mortal realms could have taken him fucking 1,000 years.
Yeah.
We don't know, because like time means nothing to these godly beings. And so yeah, then those men went to Azir and settled in the heavens. And I'm gonna let these two talk about something, because I have to pee really badly all of a sudden. So I'll be right back.
Have fun. So, Mitchell, what you got for me?
I'm trying to cover up my nipple. It's really about that at the moment. I feel exposed.
Interesting.
We suck at this, don't we?
A little bit.
When it comes to
No, so the Seraphon then settle into the skies above Azir.
yes,
And basically, as far as I'm aware, for the entire Age of Myth, they don't do very much.
no, I think the next major thing they would do would be to assist Dracothion and entrapping Kragnos.
Yes, yeah,
Because-
that is the one big major thing of note that they do in the Age of Myth, isn't it?
Yeah, because there was a whole entire thing about, Kragnos being angry, going around killing dragons, smashing eggs, and the Dracothion, like the Draconeth are like, we can't have this. So it took their eggs. Well, they went to the Slans and be like, hey, we need your help to just like not die. And for payment, the Draconeth would gave the eggs to the Seraphon.
Yep.
And that's when you get the whole entire thing about the battle against Kragnos and Croak and the Kragnos being stuck into a mountain.
And we covered this last episode, but
Yeah.
yeah. So
Did we?
Yeah, that was last episode. We talked about Kragnos.
Last episode was Flesh Eater Quartz.
I think we talked about it.
It's
Maybe
all
2
because
episodes ago. It's all blurring together.
One,
It's
I
all
am back, and two, we've talked about it recently. I think it was in the Dragons episode.
Yes, which was the episode before Flesh Eater
That's
Quartz.
Yeah, we're
That's
just going
right.
over it again because
We
it
are
is
all
a-
becoming one blur.
It is a part of
Time is nothing to us.
Time means nothing.
Time means nothing to these godly
it,
beings.
it is a part of like Seraphon lore, so we're just going over it briefly again because like it's shit that they did.
But yeah, Kragnos helps trap, or no, sorry, Croak helps trap Kragnos
Yoke that
in the
bitch
mountain.
into a mountain.
And then
Not
in order to
yoked,
protect,
literally just like, aha, you activated my trap card. Flip.
Listen, it was just the ultimate pitfall trap.
Yes.
yeah. Oh god, what was the trap card that
And Yu-Gi-Oh?
fucking that Yugi always used?
I think it was.
I
I think it was just called pitfall.
No. I'm not thinking of it original. I'm thinking of oh shit, the one where they were all on motorbikes.
Oh fuck,
XD?
man! I know
DX?
what you're talking
No.
about, but I can't think of it.
But like the dude had it was like Junkyard Scarecrow, I think is what it was called, and he like always fucking played it, and everyone always fell for it. And even as a kid, when I was watching this, I was like, dude, why are these people this stupid? Like, it's his staple card. He's literally competed in tournaments, and like this is the only thing that he does is like he lays down a singular trap card, and it's
like,
just
gee,
this
I wonder
trap.
what it is.
And it's just the same exact trap card over and over and over. And everybody's like, I'm attack you. And he's like, nope. And it's like, dude.
I scare you with the scarecrow.
Yeah, I think it was called like Junkyard or Scrapyard Scarecrow.
Anywho,
Wow, that was a fucking tangent.
that was some old memories.
Yeah, seriously.
Fuck, I was like 8 when that show was out or something like that.
Or 10 or something.
Fuck,
It might have been middle school. I don't remember.
Jesus.
I didn't
Alright.
watch Saturday cartoons.
Yeah, no, it wasn't, because it wasn't XD, because
woke
XD
up-
was the one that came after
After the original.
the original.
Because I remember I watched the entirety of the original Yu-Gi-Oh! And then like the first episode of XD when Yugi was like, you seem like a cool dude, I'm gonna give you Krebo. And I was like, that's my boy!
Yeah. Anyway,
Anywho.
that was a tangent.
Back on target.
Next
Stay on
podcast,
target.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Stay on
lore.
target.
Now, use the force, Luke. Anywho, now that that's like the backstory to the Lizardmen who became the Seraphon.
Well, hang on. Let's double check and make sure. And then of course the other big important thing that happens because of the whole Kragnos thing is that not Dracotheon, but Krondus is like, oh, we should probably protect our eggs a little better, and so for the cost of the Slan's help was giving them a bunch of the eggs for safekeeping.
Already covered that, but thank you for reiterating it.
Oh, okay, sorry. Yes, no, you're absolutely right. My
Didn't
apologies.
Krondus and Karazé like fuck off to the realms of heaven with the Seraphon for a while before they came back down?
Krondus did. I think Karazé.
Went to Gru, right? He went to Gru.
Yeah, I think he went to Gur. But like the vast majority of the Dracoliths went off to Azir with the Slan, and they were like, "We're
the
just gonna."
surviving ones.
Yeah, the surviving ones basically fucked off, and they were like, "Yeah, we're just gonna like go hide now to repopulate our numbers." The very few who survived.
So, that was the backstory of the Lizardmen and the world that was.
And I remember we were talking about this earlier. Did they actually do very much in the Age of Chaos? Because in the Age of Myth, that was like the one big thing they did.
Before we start talking about that, let's go over like what the fuck they are and like slanted shit, so they know what we're talking about going forward. But then we'll get to that.
Well, the big thing is I don't think they did anything very much in the Age of Chaos.
They didn't do a whole lot.
They did jack squat. They
So-
sat there and they meditated.
So yeah, before we get into the really the really current lore, let's go ahead and talk about what exactly they are, so we can go into a little more detail in their current lore.
So, the Seraphon are a mixture of a multitude of sentient, semi-sentient, and
beastly
lizards. More basically.
Yeah.
So
of various
first,
demon
varieties and
lizards.
sizes.
well, they're demon lizards now, or at least the Starborn are.
I would say the Coalescer as well.
Well, no, but they're physical. Well,
They're more like Skaven.
they
They're
become
mortal,
physical.
but they have a lot of energy in
It's
them.
the way that they're created that makes them demons, because the way that they're created is because the Slan literally think them into existence.
I mean, to a certain extent, that's kind of how the Skaven are created too, or at least how the first batch of them were. Because the Great Horned Rat was basically like, bloop, you're here now. But yes, please continue.
So starting off, we have
Hi there,
the
Hephaestus.
the leaders of Seraphon society. And if I slip up and say Lizardmen, I'm sorry, but Lizardmen is Seraphon. Seraphon is Lizardmen, basically. You have the Slan, big, bulbous, fat man toads. They sit in floating chairs. They look completely helpless. They look like gigantic bloated toads with skinny ass arms and legs. And they are the most magically proficient wizards in existence.
Yes, also their intelligence actually rival that way more than other gods.
Yeah, like honest to God, a basic bitch Slan can damn near rival Teclis for magical potency, because that's just how naturally talented Slans are with magic.
Well, they were taught by the old ones when it comes to magic, and they literally live forever.
Yeah, they are the de facto leaders of Lizardman society. You know how was it like Japanese culture where the emperor was like the divine mandate and whatnot?
That's
A lot of
Chinese.
Eastern cultures.
Yeah,
Well,
like they
Japan had that too, where they believed the emperor was
A
not just
divine
ruling-
figure, but the divine mandate was a Chinese thing because it was a cycle.
Oh, yeah.
okay.
Well, like basically, it's the same kind of thing with like Slan. Their rule is unquestioned because they are like basically the leaders of Seraphon society via divine mandate. Like they are the de facto.
Like the old ones said they lead, so they
yes,
lead.
so they lead, and their rule is completely unquestioned.
Can I help you?
It's almost a semi brainwashing thing. Like not because like the Lizardmen do that, but it's so ingrained in damn near their DNA that it's almost like even if a Lizardman wanted to, he couldn't do it. Like it's so even if he's like, I think that the floating toad is wrong, he'd be like, but I'm still gonna do it.
Hephaestus is trying to put his foot in my mouth.
He did the same thing to me, and it was adorable.
Oh, he wants down. Okay.
But yeah, and the greatest of the Slan is Croak. Granddaddy Toad. See, so Slan all Lizardmen are immortal, but like they can't die of natural causes. But Slan even more so, because when a Slan dies, they are taken back to their temple cities, and they are turned into relic priests. Yeah. I don't know if all of them are, but
And Croak died in the old world.
Yeah,
Croak is like doubly immortal.
So basically, when a Slan becomes a relic priest, is that their body dies and they take the body back and they wrap it and they mummify it and do a bunch of rituals, and then the Slan's soul is like, I'm gonna have my bones again, and then they just do that, and then they're alive again, like not physically, but their spirit resides in their body, and they just fucking float around and do Slan shit even though they're dead.
Yep.
Like, and
Death is like, all right, Slan, it's time to go, and the Slan's just like, nah, I don't feel like it. And Death's like, okay, I guess I'll just come back never.
You have been denied is basically what they do. And Croak is the greatest of those because Croak is
the
oldest Slan. It is, so the Codex kind of gestures the fact...
It's not called the Codex, it's a battle tome. Thank you very much.
Fuck you, the Codex. The Seraphon battle tome insinuates that Croak came down to the planet and the world that was with the old ones. Not that he was spawned on that planet, is that he was already chilling with them.
You having fun there?
Yeah.
I'm watching Philip nuzzle his pop filter.
I have nothing to do, and like it feels nice. I don't know what to tell you. Like,
but Croak,
you're right about that.
Both fucking doing it. Hold on. Oh, that does feel nice. Yeah.
fucking judge me, and then you fucking asshats are doing it too. I see how it is.
But yeah, it's insinuated that Croak came down to the world that was with the old ones. Like, he's older than basically everyone except for the Chaos Gods.
The old ones.
If
you count the when the Chaos Gods were born for like when they became sentient, Croak is by far still most likely even older than their own sentience.
So
the issue with that is, of course, is when you get into like
the Chaos Gods could have become sentient before the old ones got to that world.
Yeah, because
that.
the issue with the Chaos Gods is they exist outside of reality. So like there's a whole thing. I think it was Luton 09 had a really good explanation for how time works for a chaos god, and it's really cool. Well, but basically, you can have the sentience of a chaos god influencing time in a time before they were technically born, because they exist outside of time. And it's really weird, and I highly suggest you go look at it, because it explains why Tzeentch can be like, oh yes, I know the future, and then 3 minutes later be like, yeah, I have no fucking idea what's going on.
You say that, but at the same time, like, we were bringing this up where, like, we figured out the chaos realms are not actually, like, they're just normal realms. The realm of Nurgle used to be a realm, which we theorize at the moment, because this is from the book of the Plague Gardens from the Hollow Knights.
Some of the Great Worms and shit. Came from that realm.
Yeah, the Great Worms and Gur are from that realm.
We were theorizing that possibly there may have been many minor realms that were formed out of conjoinments of lores of magic, but one thing to note is that like the realm of chaos is to a certain extent like a collection of small minor realms.
Well,
because then you also have like Nurgle's realm and Khorne's realm.
I'm sorry, I'm still
like
stuck on Tzeentch being constantly outplayed by future Tzeentch.
Yeah,
that's still fucking with me when Tzeentch is like, I know the future. What the fuck with this? What is this? And then like future Tzeentch is just like Skeletor laughing as he memes on himself.
That's a very Tzeentch thing to do.
That's a very Tzeentch thing
I'm sorry,
to
I'm
do.
still stuck on that. That's fucking amazing.
Yeah. But the way, because let's be honest, the way chaos is written and when it's lore is it's meant to be difficult to understand.
It's meant to be confusing. That's the whole point.
Yeah. But like you have the different realms because the realm of Nurgle used to be a normal realm.
And then Nurgle stuck his big fat ass in there and took a massive shit.
Then made
it fucking
fecund.
All I'm saying. Very fecund. His fecundity. All I'm saying is that if you have Total Warhammer 3 and you play Nurgle and you recruit a Great Unclean one of their moves is to shit Nurglings on someone and then they die. So like Nurgle taking a fat shit on a realm and it just fucking dying.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
It's pretty fucking accurate. Oh god. I'm sorry, Mitch. I cut you off. I apologize.
Nurgle,
I lost
pops a squat, shits out Kugath.
The point I was trying to make is the way that time works with the Chaos Gods and AOS.
It's weird.
I don't think it works the same as in 40K when it comes to like they existed through the entirety of time. But I'm thinking with the world that was, it worked that way because it was its own realm that they shared. There were just different spots what's inside that realm.
But then their shit changed in AOS.
So which makes it very difficult.
Back on track. The chaos shit's confusing. What I was trying to say is, if Croak was the first Slan to be birthed, he is older than everyone except like the old ones, the Chaos Gods, and maybe some of the true gods, like some of the Dwarven gods. But if Croak came down with the old ones, like with them from space, he is de facto older than fucking everyone but the old ones and Chaos. Like Sigmar, older. Dwarven gods, older. All the elves, older. It doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah. I would like to also bring up, aren't the Chaos Gods the manifestation of those emotions? With there being no emotions there, I don't think the Chaos Gods would have actually fully existed yet.
Yeah, but then we have to go into the fact that, like, obviously, since space exists, are there other planets that have sentient beings that would feed the Chaos Gods and say,
let's just not go into that. Let's just not go into that. That's a whole
fucking, like, iceberg thing that's, like, this is not the episode for that.
Yeah, no.
Croak is old as fuck!
That is the point that is being made.
I will state that he's older than the Chaos Gods.
I honestly, God, kind of agree with you, but like I said, that's a whole deep dive episode.
Yeah.
Conspiracy Theory episode 2. That was wrong. But yeah,
I should probably start writing these down.
So yeah, Croak, Croak is so powerful because Slan's basically like the Slan, they crackle with celestial energy of Azir. Croak is so magically potent and so celestial and has so much celestial magic and divinity of him. The weakest of the demons look at him and promptly fucking die. We're talking like base, they're basic bitch. So your
bloodletters and your demonettes.
I don't know about that. I'm thinking more like furies and shit like that.
Oh, you mean like the super basic bitches?
Yeah, the ones that there's trillions of. The Chaos Gods and just shit them out and do it. Yeah, they look at Croak and they're just like, oh, if you've seen Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark, You know exactly what I'm talking about when I say they fucking melt.
Yeah.
That's how I envision the demons dying. And that's just by looking at him.
The demons open the Ark of the Covenant. Croak
It's
sitting
just Croak
inside.
sitting there.
Shalom.
It's Croak with a fresh pair of Timbs on, just fucking...
No. They just crack the lid. Croak. Who dares disturb my slumber?
Croak, the dog doing melts.
What that dog doing?
Anyway, so like, yeah, that's Croak. He is hellaciously powerful.
But a dog.
Dog with the butt. Sorry, we're gonna give you a quick little like insight into me and Phil's stupid ass memes. But a dog.
Dog with the butter.
Dog with the butter. Anyhow.
All right, sorry. We apologize for nothing.
Hey
Get
Mitchell.
over it.
Butter dog. Dog with the butter. Thank you. He said it too. I'm happy.
He had stepped out of the room for a moment.
State, you can be yelling, and it will be past 12.
Butter dog. Dog with the butter. So after the Slan, we have Saurus. So where Slan are like big bulbous toad men, or just big bulbous toads in general. There's nothing manly about them. Not like there's no real man human characteristics. For the Saurus, just think if.
Get closer to the mic. There you go.
Okay, not that close.
Not that close. You seem
You
very
don't need
far.
to eat it.
I was like right here. This is about where
Yeah, this is more or less where we started.
Sorry,
Okay.
we're trying to catch each other on like the mics to make sure we're not talking too quietly. So if you hear Mitchell correct me, that's what it is.
Yeah, so whenever we start doing this thing where we get really loud, and then we do this thing where we start getting really quiet, it's because we're still getting used to the spacing thing.
And we apologize. We'll try to fix it the best we can. And
It's just gonna take practice.
yeah. So we have the Saurus. So Saurus, think if like.
Basically, think if a velociraptor had arms that actually looked more like a human's arms, and were just a little.
And they stood upright. And they were
stood-
buff as shit.
Yeah, and it looked like they ate their protein
Protein?
and went to the gym every day.
Yeah.
they're bigger than the average man.
They're 7 to 8 feet.
Yeah,
like
but they're not like drastically.
They're basically
huge.
Space Marine sized.
And
Yeah, but they are like jacked. They look like they lift.
They are very vicious in their nature, but they're also incredibly smart.
They are they are both primal ferocity made manifest, and while also being tactical genius in battle made manifest.
Which is funny
they
because
combine just the pure primal savagery of what you think a fucking man dinosaur would be with like knowing how to flank.
Yeah, so that's kind of what makes the Saurus so interesting. Is the Saurus, whenever you just see them and like watch them interact with each other on a daily basis, you'd think they were like they had the brain power of like crocodiles. Because they are capable of speech.
Crocodilators in the
don't.
back, just like
Yeah, they're capable of speech. They just don't.
yeah.
And you think, and like they obey the Slan wholeheartedly and without question. So to a certain extent, like you look at them and you're like, oh, so they're just big dumb lizards.
No.
And then that big dumb lizard conquers all of Europe in like 4 years in 1805. If you get that reference, congratulations, you're a history nerd.
Yeah,
Nerd.
and so as far as the speaking goes, the older and more like experienced a Saurus gets, the more like capable of speech he is. They just don't talk because fuck language.
Yeah.
If two like elite Saurus have very rarely they'll have a disagreement, but if they do have a disagreement over like what to do, there is no debating. It is basically like actions speak louder than words. So me and you ritualize combat. Whoever wins, we do what you want. Mm-hmm. Just and there's no even there's no there's I don't think they'll kill each other because there's no real anger there. It is basically like I want to go left and you want to go right, and might makes right, so we fight.
Yeah.
And that's basically what it is. Cool. But so and there are a lot of Saurus, different types. So you have like the normal Saurus warrior, which would be akin to like the foot soldier. Like the Saurus warriors are like the backbone of Seraphon armies. It's
a velociraptor who ate his Wheaties and went to the gym.
It's hard to say that an 8 foot tall fucking dinosaur man that can like bend steel is is like the basic foot soldier, but that's basically what it is.
Yeah.
Then you have like Eternity Wardens, which are Saurus that guard the Slan whenever Slan go into battle.
Eternity Wardens are actually the leaders of the Saurus Guard. And they're one-man wrecking crews, really.
Yeah, well, they're also the ones who like personally guard the Slan whenever they're on the battle.
you doing this?
You have like the Saurus Knights, who are Saurus that ride cold ones, which are basically big ass velociraptors, and we'll get to those. And so there's a bunch of different types, and the really important ones are you have like the Spawn Lords. I think they're called Spawn Lords or just Saurus Lords, and they're the ones who are just like so fucking old and experienced, and so just have so much tactical prowess.
Sunbloods.
No. Sunbloods are different.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so and I'll get to that. No, I'll actually get to that next.
Okay.
So Saurus, I think they're called Spawn Lords, but like Saurus Spawn Lords are so intelligent when it comes to warfare. When Slan take to the battlefield to like fuck up some demons, they will occasionally look to the Saurus and go, "You lead." Because when it comes...
So these are like your Sun Tzus and your...
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, basically, me as a Saurus, I am big brain, divine the future, call down meteors, set this whole fucking army on fire. I am that guy. But when it comes to, like, knowing exactly when to, like, pull some of the army back, to bait someone out, to flank them, to lure them into a trap, to do whatever it is you have to do to win the battle by just being a tactical genius, Spawn Lords. Or Saurus Lords. I forget what they're called. I think it's Saurus Spawn Lords. Now, what Sunblood...
He asks questioningly while also smacking his battle tome that he could totally look it up in.
The battle tome calls them Spawn Lords, but then like calls them different shit in that exact same fucking paragraph.
Yeah, because that's not confusing at all.
Yeah. So then you have Sunbloods, and so where Spawn Lords are like the leaders of the army, Sunbloods are like, oh yeah, I'm gonna fuck this army up by myself.
Oh god. Slime Harbro, is that you?
Sunbloods are basically walking conduits of etheric energy.
One thing to note about Sunbloods is it's kind of theorized that they're the firstborn of the Seraphon when they were remade.
And they've been fighting since like the Age of Myth, and whenever one gets born, it's a huge fucking deal. Mm-hmm. So Sunbloods, like I said, they're basically walking conduits of like as celestial energy. Like, they carry that shit in them. And they're the ones who walk up in battle, and they're like, yeah, you, and every motherfucker that looks like you is going to die, and it's going to be me and me alone who does it. What they're smart, like, how they're smart in battle, is where Spawn Lords are very much like, I will control this army, and I will fucking murder you with it. The Spawn Lord is like, yes, I can spot the chink in the armor. I can look at a battle line.
So he's like a custom.
I can look at a battle line and know exactly where to hit it to break this thing open like a fucking egg. He's the one on the front lines who knows how to break down the enemy front lines.
So he's like a champion of the army. He's a bit like a Custodes from 40K taking the field.
Kind of, yeah.
Like it's like that meme that M. Watt put on
All I'm surrounded by is fear and dead men.
Yeah, and it was that redrawing of the scene from Darth Vader. And he's like, the only thing that surrounds me is fear and dead men.
Yeah, I'll actually read a quick little script for Sunbloods from the Codex. I just think it's super cool. Let me see a second if I can find it. Though they typically leave the Old Bloods, being like the Saurus Lords, like those old ones. Though they typically leave the Old Bloods to consider matters of greater strategy, Sunbloods are adept at determining weaknesses in enemy battle line. At the crucial juncture of a battle, as the crucial juncture of a battle arrives, the scarred Surian will let loose a blood-chilling roar. His kin will respond in kind by instinct, falling upon the chosen enemy and tearing them to bloody tatters. So he basically like, Philip, you're the weak link. He looks at you and goes, hello, all of the Saurus around me. This white pasty bitch right here, he's the one we will fucking kill, and when he dies, he's the one who will shatter the enemy battle line.
Cool.
And then that's exactly what they do. And then you get fucking massacred.
Excellent. I love it.
Yeah.
I dig it. Let's go.
And then the other Saurus unit of note is the Astrolith bearers. Basically, they're Saurus.
The what now?
Astrolith.
Oh, okay.
Bearers.
Did you cover Saurus Knights?
Yeah, they're Saurus Knights are the ones that ride. I said that they ride cold ones in the battles,
Yes.
which are big ass velociraptors.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't think you did say that.
I said it for I gave it a quick side note because when I was gonna cover cold ones, I was gonna cover like who rides them and shit like that.
Gotcha.
Is this your last one? Because I want to talk about their actual big, like, living siege monsters real quick.
Yes.
Okay.
So the Astrolith bearers, they're kind of akin to standard bearers in 40K for Space Marines. They may not be like the best fighters, but Whereas standard bears are like just my presence inspires the Space Marines to great acts of morale. The Astrolith bears are basically like just my mere presence lets me call down reinforcements from the heavens.
Oh god.
Like the Astrolith bearers, like their standards, they're basically artifacts from the old ones, so they're still extremely precious, and like they will 115% die if they can't kill the one coming towards them. They will die. They have to be dead for that thing to touch the ground.
Okay.
But they're the ones who let reinforcements get called in from the sky, which we'll talk about once I get done going through units, when we talk about the difference between the Starborn and the Coalesce and the constellations and all that shit.
Yeah. I wanted to make a big note about the actual like big siege monsters. So like your
Basilodons, Stegodons, Dreadsaurians, Carnosaurs,
Yes.
Cold Ones, Troglodons.
What you would note about when you like actually look at all of them, there's always like an unmounted version and a mounted version. When it comes to all these, they're all still very strong on their own. They're very vicious, and I wouldn't state that their like intelligence is as great as what your normal Saurus would be, but the relationship between these like living siege engines to what the Saurus, like your typical the riders are, it is fierceness guided by intelligence, and that what makes them more scary just on the battlefield, because they can go do what they need to get done on the battlefield just by themselves, but it's more efficient once they have a rider on top of it.
Yeah, like for instance, the Carnosaur is basically like to take a Velociraptor and a T-Rex and make them fuck, and you get a Carnosaur. So a T-Rex with big ass legs that can that has mad yumps. Only like the strongest and most willfully strong Saurus can tame Carnosaurs and ride them, but like getting attacked by a Velociraptor T-Rex sucks, but getting attacked by a Velociraptor T-Rex with a fucking dinosaur man on top of it saying, yes, kill him, is a little more terrifying.
Yes.
Because Mitchell's 100% right. It is pure primal fury being directed by a hyper-intelligent reptile.
Yes, and it just makes that much for like the Wombo combo.
Oh, it's fucking terrifying. And we'll go over, I'm going to go over all of like the sentient Seraphon, and then we'll talk about their plethora of beasts. And so those are three like Saurus I'm gonna talk about, but there's still other Saurus guards, Saurus knights. Then there's the warriors. There's a bunch of different versions.
I do want to say something about the Saurus guard in particular when it comes to the Slan. Is that the Saurus guard? They're each individually are named, like the Slan individually knows their names, and no Saurus guard can be pretty much like resurrected by any other Slan other than that one Slan that they serve. So, and it's it's like the Saurus, like the head Saurus guard is the big guy.
Yeah, the Eternity Warden that commands the guard is basically a one-man wrecking crew that will fuck your shit up aggressively.
But they do not leave the Slan.
Nope.
If they leave the Slan, everybody must be running.
Shit's gotten superbly fucked.
Yeah.
So after the Saurus, which once again are very much they very much take the role of like the frontline fight of the big beefy boys, you have skinks, which are like the sneaky smart reptiles.
They're the tools of the Seraphon.
Yes, whereas Saurus are very much like Velociraptors and Velociraptor man combo. The skinks are like chameleons that are bigger and they can walk upright.
Chameleons with more fingers.
Yeah, basically. And yeah, no, the skinks very much, they take a very interesting role in Seraphon society. When you lack a Slan, it's the skinks that are the thinkers. They are like the super hyper intelligent ones that do a bunch of swiggity shit. There actually are a version of skinks that like ride in the palicans that the Slan ride in, because the Slan have these big ass floating chairs.
The Starseers?
Yeah,
there's something really special about the Starseers, because it's noted that the Saurus will act, like they follow the orders. They straight up just follow the orders and they know what to do. But it's the Starseers that actually know what the Slan wants. That's how well connected they are with the Slan.
Yeah, and the skinks are also the other type of Seraphon that can cast magic. And that's why they can be treated with extreme reverence, and they can even, to a certain extent, damn near be elevated to the position of a Slan. And the ones that ride in the palanquins or palicans, which one is it?
Palanquin.
Palanquin.
Yeah, it's a chariot without wheels, not a bird that eats fish.
Yeah. The ones that ride in the palanquins are called Star Seers, I think you said, right?
Yeah, this is the one I was talking
and those
about.
those are like supreme skinks.
Yeah. They are pretty much, if you look at the hierarchy, they are just right below them because you're gonna have two like right hand people. It's gonna be the Star Seer and then like a Source Old Blood or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
The Spawn Lord.
you have skink priests, star priests, and oracles, which are basically like pick your flavor of mage. They're different versions of skinks that can cast magic, and they have different abilities. Like on tabletop, like skink priest, oracles, and star priests are going to be able to cast different types of magic, and whatnot. But they're all mages.
I have a quick question for you.
Yeah.
I know that there's still a way to be. It's like you can have a thematic army without a slan because the slan, like a lot of times the armies go off to go do something. Do you know how far an army can get away from a slan? Because I know with coalesced it might be different than that.
I think that's only coalesced.
Okay.
Because I know for Starborn the slan is the link that the Seraphon used to stay physical if they're Starborn. I think it's the coalesce because the coalesce are the only ones that have true permanence. Which means they're the only ones who can that don't have to be summoned to exist in reality or to exist like in physical form.
And if it sounds suspiciously like we're talking about demons when we're talking about some of the Lizardmen or the Seraphon and the Slans and whatnot, it's because to a certain extent there is a kind of Seraphon that basically is a demon.
Yeah,
in the sense that like they don't have a physical body, they have to be summoned.
They got thought into existence, basically.
Yeah,
well, that's all of them. Really.
All of them. Yeah,
but we will cover that in more detail whenever we get to that section. Right now, we're more covering just who they are and what they do.
The units in one, and actually, that was what I was going to do next is cover like how they were born, the difference between Starborn and Coalesced, and the constellations. So skinks can also take up roles as warriors. I think they're just called skinks, but they have sword and blow darts and shit. And they can like yeet rocks at people. And you have chameleon skinks, which are exactly what they sound. Just think of chameleon that wants to stab you with a spear or shoot you with a blow dart.
So a sneaky boy.
Sneaky boy, yeah. But what's really cool is skinks have a very interesting relationship with the next Lizardmen called, and they're my personal favorite, the Croxigator.
Ha!
If a man
loves a woman,
if a man loves a saltwater crocodile, you get Croxigators. They are like 9 to 10 feet tall crocodile men that can literally look at a California oak or a California redwood that's been alive for 100 years and go, I'm gonna rip that bitch out of the ground, and then proceed to do it with very little resistance. They are fucking massive. They are inhumanly strong, and
completely stupid.
I don't think they're stupid. I think it's just like how they're bred. They're just very, very.
They're just slow, guys.
No, yeah, like they're not dumb. They're just slow. Like Croxigators were basically bred for like manual labor. Because they're basically controlled by skinks. Like skinks are the ones that direct them, which is why even on tabletop, skinks and Croxigators have like a very unique relationship. Like if there's a certain type of skink unit that's within 6 inches of a Croxigator, that Croxigator just like bitch slaps more people. But you have like Nakai the Wanderer, which is from the old world, but like haven't really changed Croxigators that much. Like he's a very intelligent Croxigator. He's just like. They're just naturally, ironically, they're very quiet unless they're about to murder you, and then they roar very loudly, and then you die.
Oh, wow. Almost like a crocodile.
Yeah. But yeah, no, Croxigators, they're and like I said, they're fucking massive. They are 100% down to eat you. And they have these anytime. They have these massive fucking war clubs. Like, they're just big. Just big,
an amazing unit.
And they're fucking spooky. I fucking love them. But they like their role in society. At least I'm pretty sure like the Coalesce, because like Seraphon society is weird now since they all live in fucking space.
So I have a question.
Is like they were like they were like the menial labor because they can lift like a 3-ton slab of granite and be like, yes, I'm now going to lift up this other 3-ton slab of granite with my other hand, and then just like happily trot down the street making hungry crocodile noises.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Do the Croxigators wear Crocs?
Get out of my house.
That wasn't rhetorical. I want an answer, Jacob. Do they wear Crocs?
The Croxigators are born with Crocs.
Ay.
Get out of my house.
Every time I think of croc-gators, I can just think of like that fucking prehistoric meme that's like, something yada yada alligator. I drive a Chevrolet movie theater. I forget it's like from 2011, and it's just a picture of a fucking alligator just like
I
walking.
drive a Chevrolet
movie theater.
Yeah,
It's
I know what you're talking about.
ancient.
That's
Yeah.
Big Daddy Smalls.
Ancient fucking meme.
No.
Okay,
Whenever we talk about
low key, can we
croc-gators-
please put a link to that video in the description? It's amazing.
Whenever we talk about croc-gators, all I can think of is that Okoye video. When he does the doom stack of 20 croc-gators
Yeah, right.
in Total War 2. And it's just like...
Beyblade.
Yeah, that's what I was
Beyblade.
thinking. Beyblade and the crocs. And then like, whenever they scream, he has like a mod that he puts in where they just go... Instead of screaming, they just go... Oh.
It's oh.
And then he like plays a match with it, with that mod in, where instead of roaring, they make that noise. And it's just...
You'll have 20 and it'll be like and it's just like, what the fuck is going on?
Oh, it's bad.
That's to be a really great clip. It's just me going so
Oh man. Okay. Man, we're getting to the part of the night where we're getting loopy.
so
It's
that
past 12 o'clock. We get to talk about the people we murdered.
bodies
Dude,
in my closet.
It's past 12 o'clock. I need to be fucking bed. Like, I'm usually in bed by 10. Like, we go late tonight.
Legitimately, 2 weeks ago, we stayed at 6 o'clock watching the entirety of Jack Reacher. I know you have it in you.
I don't know what you're talking about. It was only 4 o'clock. You shut your mouth.
That's a very
No, it
lucrative
wasn't.
hand placement.
Don't. Please. I can't take that.
A single tear.
Dude, we stayed up till like 6 that night and I wanted to die. Because then my body was like,
show was-
waking up at 10. And I was like, dude, but
Bro,
why
but that
no?
show was so good.
Oh, it was.
So anyway, after the Croc-Gator, yeah, that's about all of the like sentient species.
And then you get to like the just straight up dinosaurs.
then we get to Jurassic Park, and
That's all you need to know is that it's Jurassic Park.
I'm gonna shotgun real quick. Bastiladon is just I think it's like basically a gigantic pissed off ankylosaurus, shelled back, club tail, and the Seraphon will put gigantic sunbeam lasers that shoot fucking laser beams at you.
Basically laser cannons.
Or, and this is probably like I don't use the unit, but it's probably my favorite. A little like shell on its back that has a connection to a dimension that's filled with infinite snakes.
Wait, what?
The Ark of Sotek shoots snakes at people.
That is amazing.
It's a Bastiladon with this thing on it that's connected to some magical pocket dimension, and it just shoots venomous snakes at people.
Bro, did like Indiana Jones come and steal their shit at one point? And they were like, wait, he ate snakes.
Bro,
Let's fuck this
Look
guy.
it up. It is amazing. It's like, yeah, because it even talks about it. It's like, people think they're going to run out of snakes, and they just never run out of snakes.
Oh my God.
Because it's not like 1 or 2 snakes. It's like a fucking deluge of like hundreds of snakes.
Indiana Jones be warned.
It's fucking, I love the unit so much.
Dude, that's just straight up like, who hurt you? Who hurt you and how? What made you think this was a good idea? Because like it kind of is, but also like that's a bit weird.
So next we have the Stegodon, which is just a gigantic fuck off Triceratops. And they put 2 things on the Stegodon. They put a fucking ballista on it, and it hurt a lot. Or they put Engine of the Gods, which is basically like, we're gonna put a crystal on this that fucks with reality.
Oh, I love Engine of the Gods so much.
It can hurt itself. It can debuff itself. It can buff its units. It can heal its units. It can glass a planet, Covenant from Halo style, with sun lasers. Because like the Engine of the Gods on the tabletop is like, roll a d20 and see what happens. Which is fucking amazing.
We're going on a trip.
No, yeah, but and the cool thing about the Stegodons and the Bastiladons is Stegodons and Bastiladons are like just have skinks everywhere. Like skinks ride the shit out of all of them. So even when you're getting fucked up with a dinosaur or the shit on top of the dinosaur, you have skinks that are going like blow darting the shit out of you, or if you get too close, stabbing you.
Wow.
It's pretty fucking neat.
Wow.
After that, we have the Carnosaur, which we talked about, which is the Velociraptor T-Rex that the Saurus will ride, and they will make you
Honestly,
regret being alive.
Rather than that, I'd say it's more akin to the... what was the dinosaur in Jurassic World, the first one, the big one that like they put raptor DNA in it.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. But
What is that thing called?
Smaller.
It's not
Indominus Rex.
That's right. I was about to say it's not the Verizon, because they make that joke about like brought to you by Verizon.
But if you look at it, it has that big ass Velociraptor claw, and it like jumps and like will fucking do that shit like a Velociraptor would. That's why.
Yeah, no, like 100%. The this thing does look kind of like the Indominus Rex, and like there's a potential lawsuit somewhere in there.
Right. Well, to be fair, it came first.
Like I said, there's a potential lawsuit somewhere in there.
So I can't find the name, but there is a skink out there that absolutely obliterated a Cornite like host with just 100 Engine of the Gods.
Oh yeah, I remember hearing about this story.
Yeah,
I can't remember any of the details, but I just remember that like they were basically like Corn was coming to them, and they were basically like, we just have 100
this bitch with lasers.
Let's just fuck this guy up.
Shoot this bitch with laser beams.
Pew pew.
I think real quick tangent. I think my favorite skink shenanigan was during the end times in the world that was, where the Skaven were like fucking up this temple city, and like all the slam were like passed the fuck out from trying to stop the Skaven from pulling the moon down, and so this was like a really revered skink who was in one of the Palanquins, so he was one of those big brain skinks, and he was like, get the slan and get the fuck out of the city, and so like the Saurus were like, yes sir, and the skinks were like, but why? And he was like, don't fucking ask questions, just do it. So they pull everyone out. A couple of the slan actually end up getting eaten by the Skaven, because the skinks were like, we got to get all the shit, and then they took too long. But besides that, everyone gets pulled out, and the big brain skink is sitting there like doing some magic shit, and they were like, what are you doing? And he was like letting the Skaven in the city. Why? Because I'm about to blow this bitch up with a meteor, and pulls a meteor from fucking outer space onto the city. It was like, that's gonna do it. That meteor is much larger than I intended it to be. We should start running. And it fucking like blew the fuck up and took like a sixth of the continent out. It was like, just fucking
Dinosaurs 2.0.
Yeah, no, it killed like millions of Skaven. Like, yeah, no, it was fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
because they were like, we can't fight this, and then he just like, let them come, meteors.
Death from above.
No, yeah, it's my favorite skink story. But yeah, so next, probably one of my favorite dinosaurs is the Troglodon.
Oh, I love that one.
So the Troglodon,
Okay. This one always makes me laugh because Troglodon sounds very similar to Troglodyte, which means cave dweller.
Yeah, no, 100%. They're blind. Like, they're blind because they hunt in caves. Like, that's their shtick.
Yeah, it's amazing because they just spit acid until they hit something that's screaming, and they're going like, yes, it's time to hunt.
Oh, what's also funny is, like, so the Troglodon screech is so, like, horrific to hear. Basically, being on tabletop, being near one, all the enemies' bravery is negged because they're just like, no. If a Troglodon hits you with its acid attack, basically what the game says is, it is so fucking horrible that you start screaming, and then it hears you, and then it eats you.
Yep.
But, yeah, no, it's blind. It's very much akin to a Carnosaur. But instead of being like the Carnosaur who hunts out in the jungle, it hunts in, like, the cave and in the dark, and uses, like, a really intense hearing, and, like, it has, like, feelers on its face and shit like that, kind of like a mole.
The only person who, like, Seraphon that actually rides it are going to be skink oracles.
Skink oracles, yep.
Yeah. So, it's not going to be a Saurus warrior, buddy.
You can't. No. You can't find skink oracles by themselves. You only get them when they're riding Troglodons. But I just like them because they look really cool, and like it's just super dark. It's like I spit at something until I hear it melting their fucking body in half, and then I go and I fucking eat it. But yeah, no, it's really cool. After that, we have the pterodon, which is it's the pterodactyl.
Yep,
it's pterodactyl.
Ridden by skinks.
Yeah, ridden by skinks.
What I mean by like skinks were when I stated that there were the tools. You don't have Saurus. Like you will never have the Saurus really riding a whole lot of things.
Saurus ride Carnosaurs, and that's it. Every other dinosaur that gets ridden is ridden by skinks.
And it's because skinks, they don't have a whole lot of like battle potential, but they're highly intelligent. So they're the ones that are leading that like just pure ferocity. to a more like efficient manner.
Yeah, they can tame the beasts easier. Yeah. Oh, also, I'm sorry, Saurus also read cold ones, which are just, like I said, cold ones are just really big fucking velociraptors, and the Saurus ride them like horses, and yeah, just have that mental image in your head. Velociraptor cavalry.
It's truly amazing.
And then you have the super velociraptor cavalry, which are called horned ones, which are just big ass velociraptors, but bigger with horns. So the horned ones are basically so innately like hostile and violent that cold ones being near they're called horned ones, I think. Cold ones being near horned ones just get a boner for murder. Like that, like the horned ones are just so fucking violent. They
work the cold ones up into a frenzy.
They basically do what bloodthirsters do to other people normally. Being in their presence makes them hungry for slaughter.
Jesus.
So then we have after that we have riperdactyls, which are just pterodactyls, but with big ass mouths that eat people. And they have this secondary beast called a bloat toad, which like basically a bloat toad is a little frog that makes a pheromone that when riperdactyls like smell it, they're just like, ah yes, murder everything in sight. But they're just pterodactyls with big ass mouths and sharp teeth, and they eat people and they eat things, and they're also ridden by skinks. After that, and I honest to God don't know if this model is still like playable for Seraphon and AOS, but you have the Quetzalcoatl, which is
I have never heard of this.
It's in Total War 2. It's
not Quetzalcoatl?
Not Quetzalcoatl. It's Quetzalcoatl maybe.
Yeah, the Aztec god.
Yeah, its name is derived from that, but I think it's called
Quetzalcoatl.
Is that the name of the god?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm actually gonna.
I've heard it pronounced like 30 different ways. I really can't comment, but the point being,
you gotta act like you're saying pretzel, so it's Quetzalcoatl.
I'm actually really curious. So give me a second to look at the codex.
Hey, how you doing, Philip?
I'm fucking tired.
Yeah, we've been at this for an hour and 31 minutes now.
Bro, I'm so tired.
I feel you.
And I still have to make that hour and a half drive back.
Just get seriously to drive.
Hold on. Okay, I'm not seeing
it.
I'm not seeing. Okay, yeah, it's called a Quetzal something, but it's basically a gigantic.
If it's around, it's probably a Forge World.
It kind of looks like a Chinese dragon, but it's like more of a bird. But like it's an innately magical creature.
It's probably a Forge World thing.
Yeah, almost.
If it's still around.
If it was ever a model in the first place. But yeah, no, it's just like spoopy bird dinosaur. And then we have the big boy, the Dreadsaurian, which is just like
is that just the big one?
Yeah, that's basically if a saltwater crocodile got to be like 100 feet long.
Oh.
Yeah, no, the Dreadsaurian just looks like a crocodile, but it's fucking huge. Like it's like half a football field long.
They have the quest and the Total War with the
dwarves, yeah.
Just called the big one.
The big one. Yeah, no, so Dreadsaurian in the world that was, Dreadsaurian's name were Dragon Eaters. Because they're so big and ferocious that if a dragon was in Lustria and it landed, a Dreadsaurian would be like, nom. And that's basically what would happen.
That's why there's no dragons in Lustria.
Hey guys. You want to see a death roll?
Yeah, no, like so they're fucking massive. Like I honestly think they're like from tip of snout to end of tail, they're like half a football field long, if not bigger. Like they're fucking massive with like huge jaws. Like they are just truly gargantuan beasts, but they just look like big ass crocodiles. But they're seen as like legendary. They're like mythic. Like they're so rare. They're basically mythical. Like that's how like there's not a lot of them, and they're just that powerful. Like they're nigh on unkillable. Like these are so big and ferocious. Like even like greater demons are like, I might not want to fuck with that, because it like it's just so big. It's just so terrifying. And then, of course, you can fit half a goddamn city on its back. So the fucking skinks hop on that bitch, and they're like, yes, put the 37 ballistas, or just throw like 19 carnosaurs on top of it. Like, it's just fucking big.
Just throw 20.
Just throw a temple.
It's like a World War One Zeppelin with biplanes.
Oh, God. It's fucking terrifying.
Oh, yeah, they did make a couple Zeppelins that had, what do they call those? Parasite planes?
Probably, yeah.
So I know that was like the whole point of the Goblin in World War II was to try and make it a parasite plane, but actually no, it was post World War II, wasn't it?
Don't ask me. It's too late in the night to try to remember.
Right, you're not Matthew. Sorry.
I think that about.
Thanks.
I mean, to be fair,
to be fair, yeah, that my brother.
yeah, that'd be
would sit
right
there.
up his alley.
Yeah.
Yeah, and once again, if we sound dead inside, it's because we were fucking with the soundboard for a long time. And
It's because it is now 12:30, and I should have been to bed 2.5 hours ago.
Yeah, we started late because we also had kind of like a night with the boys type thing today, and then we also fuck with the soundboard for like an hour. And yeah, so if we sound dead inside, it's because we are, and we're sorry. But
I'm not that dead on the inside.
bro, you look like you're about to start crying.
That's because I don't have my glasses on.
oh man, your eyes get super like.
No, it just
Okay. I think that is it for
He just has moist eyes.
moist.
I may be able to do it with my eyelid.
That was all right. Moving on. Moving promptly right on.
Oh fuck. I think that's about it for like the units.
All right, let's go ahead and go over
Can
there.
y'all? Do you think of anything that I'm missing?
Nope.
No, dude, Seraphon is my like least studied army. Like I did my research, but I'm gonna be honest. If you're talking about some obscure unit, it's gonna be a little beyond me.
Have fun explaining that one.
So
Go into what's the difference between Starborn and Coalesced.
that is next. Yeah. So you've heard us talking.
Also, if you're wondering, this is Circe's episode because this is his favorite race.
I'm trying to involve you guys. God damn it.
Let me speak, damn it!
Next, we're going to talk about the difference between Coalesce and Starborn. So you've heard me. We've talked about Coalesce and Starborn a couple times. Kind of think of them as like two different factions, but in terms of like having different abilities. So the majority of the Seraphon, they live up in the heavens of Azir. Like they live in their temple ships in the heavens of Azir, and they don't have like physical bodies. They basically exist as like motes of light, and whenever they're needed on the physical world, a Slan will like bind a body with a soul, with like the light of the soul, put them together, and then like just hot drop them down on
Stormcast style.
a Stormcast style into the mortal realms.
Mm-hmm. So this one thing that I've been noticing in a lot of the battle tomes is that there seems to always be two or three different styles of sub-faction inside of each faction. So like, for instance, in Stormcast Eternals, you have the Scions of the Storm and then the Host Keepers or something. I'm going to forget the other one now because I never... No. Stormhost is a collection, but it's basically two different play styles.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate because basically the difference, so like whereas Starborn are like very summony and like I can teleport my shit around, Coalesced are very much like have fun killing us, bitch, fuck you.
Yeah, and that is like the Scions of the Storm. That's what allows me, like whenever I play on tabletop, that's what allows me to put literally half of my army in reserve and then just deep strike them in later in the game. Whereas, I'm gonna forget what the other one is called now. It's like
Stormkeep?
I think it's called Stormkeepers.
Yeah.
But that's supposed to be lore-wise. That's supposed to represent the guys who stay behind in Stormkeeps and work and maintain small garrisons and work with like Cities of Sigmar. So they give giant buffs to Cities of Sigmar.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming
The issue is that I don't run Cities of Sigmar.
You're meant to combo them with Cities of Sigmar.
Yeah, so you're very much meant to, like, because in AOS you can include up to a quarter of your points as an allied army.
So yeah, so you,
and
you
like
just...
if you run, as far as I'm aware, if you run this other, basically sub-faction, kind of, sort of, if you run this certain army style and you don't include the maximum number of Cities of Sigmar,
you're fucking up.
Yeah, you're really not doing it right.
If you're not throwing in steam tanks for the meme
I'm
while
not
doing
seeing
Stormcast,
fucking
you're
great
not,
cannons. If I ain't seeing them baller ass mustaches,
you're doing it
you're
wrong.
doing it wrong. So Mitchell, play footsies with you.
You want to
Anyway.
molest my feet with your feet?
All right,
I
you
really
two quit playing footsie and let's get on with this.
Wow, that was like 400 grit sandpaper.
Welcome. So the Starborn are very much like we exist not physically in our temples, and like when they're put into their bodies, like their bodies are very much flesh and blood. Like they are physical, but also like celestial magic flows through their body, and because how they exist in the temple cities, they can't quite be like fully physical when they interact with like the planes and stuff. And, and when they die, they turn to motes of light and get yeeted back up into their temple city if something doesn't like fuck with their soul.
It's like those Chinese or Japanese like candle floaty things.
Yeah, kind of just like woo, just float up in the top. Yeah.
Or what was that? Like. I'm gonna forget. It's like something in the Big Peach. I think that was at the end.
James the Giant Peach.
Yeah. I think that was at the end of that movie.
So,
but I think a big thing is when they're created, they don't have to be right next to the Slan.
No, not at all. Because that's kind of where the Ashlight Bears come in handy. So like Slan, so like the Starborn, so like on tabletop, the Starborn are very summon oriented. Like basically, you do think you get things called CCP points, like CCP, which is something conjuration points, and you use those to just summon in units.
Celestial conjuration points?
I'm sorry.
Isn't it celestial conjuration points?
Yeah. Okay. No, he's right. It's celestial conjuration points. What they're called. Starborn can just like straight up summon in units with those points on tabletop, and it could be like an Engine of the Gods or a Skink Chief on Stegodon, like
or 30 skinks,
or 30. If they want to spend 18 points, it's 30 fucking skinks,
or just 10 skinks,
and they just have to, and they just hot drop those fuckers in wholly within 12 inches of a Slan and 9 inches of an enemy, and they're like ready. I'm ready to fuck shit up, and so.
Well, we were just talking about how the Slan is not too terribly. When it comes to Starborn, you really want the Slan. But for Coalesced, you don't really need a Slan.
Yeah, and so like...
Because they are permanent on the realm.
Yeah, and so the thing about Starborn is like in battle, if the Slan dies, all of the Seraphon disappear. Not immediately, but they get yoked back to their cities. Because the Slan acts as their connection to the mortal realms. A lot like demons. How like chaos energy is what keeps them connected to the plane.
Yeah.
It's a lot like that. So that's why a lot of times for Starborn, they try to murder the Slan. So, like, all of those Lizardmen get yoked back, which is why getting to the Slan is so fucking hard, because, like, the super badass Source are protecting it. So then we get to the Coalesced. And the Coalesced are the Seraphon who their temple cities have landed among the mortal realms. And they're like Azurite energies mix in with the realm and the realms they're a part of, and they can achieve true permanence. That they can become fully physical.
I got something to actually talk about the Coalesced. Even in the realm of Gert, like the Coalesced, they're absolutely just feared.
Yeah, they're vicious as shit.
In the realm of Gert, there is a temple, like a Coalesced like Seraphon group constellation. I don't know what to call it at the moment. In a forest, and all the orcs are actually very scared just to even go around that forest because they just see red eyes and die.
Get murdered. So, well, that actually makes sense because, like, whereas the Starborn fight very much like, the Slan light channels the energy through all the Lizardmen and hot drop down more Seraphon, or he empowers the Lizardmen with like etheric energy. The Coalesced are very much like punji sticks and fucking landscape magic, like. The Coalesced, like the swords of the Coalesced are very much like, I'm gonna rip your throat out with my fucking teeth, and the Skinks are like, I'm gonna like ambush you and do guerrilla tactics, and the Slan are like, I don't hot drop in shit, I just like rip out chunks of earth and fucking yeet them at you, and all that. So the Coalesced tend to be very, very primal and savage in their combat, where the Starborn are very much like a little more organized, hot dropping in troops and whatnot, and how that reflects on the battlefield for Coalesced is like. They
get a bite attack.
So all Seraphon, like Saurus and Croxgators and a bunch of the dinosaurs, like they have a natural weapon, which is their fucking mouths. All Coalesced get 1 extra bite attack. All Coalesced have subtract 1 damage from attacks to a minimum of 1
to each attack.
Yes,
which is a big thing.
Let me double check that so I'm not talking out of my ass. Subtract one from the damage inflicted by each successful attack. Yeah.
Yep, I played against them, and yeah, that sucks. Especially when you're supposed to be doing 2 mortal wounds every single bolt boy shot. Kind of sucks.
Yeah. So the Coalesced.
No, if you're doing mortal wounds, it doesn't negate that.
It's a successful attack.
Oh.
Well, I thought
that's
I thought
mean.
mortal wounds are in increments of 1 in AOS.
They are on increments of 1, but it's with how that's worded. What that means is that because most of the time,
Well, it says to a minimum of 1.
no. Because most of the time, what it means, whenever what you're thinking of the wording is reduce damage. Whenever this unit takes damage, reduce that damage by 1 to a minimum of 1. The issue is that it's not going off like when you hit; it's going off when you fail the armor.
Subtract 1 from the damage inflicted by each successful attack that targets a coalesce unit to a minimum of 1. All right.
And so basically, since it's affecting the attack, not like basically because of the way it's worded, it gets around the whole mortal wounds and increments of 1 thing.
Yeah, because
That's
it's
fucking
because
dumb.
it's not affecting the group of damage that is being received because
Like the individual attacks that are coming at you.
it's targeting more the attack and less the damage.
Well, yeah. So basically, it's like where Starborn are very much like organized and they're very summon oriented. For Coalesce, their units are a little more precious because they don't do a lot of summoning shit. They just make it really fucking hard to kill for
well,
them to die.
the Slan can still bring things up into existence.
Yeah, but
They're just a little more valuable.
yeah. And also the cool thing is, so whether you're Starborn or Coalesce also depends on what like War Scroll Battalion you can play. So like if you want to do Thunder Lizards, you have to be Coalesced. Versus if you want to be like, let me see, what is it? Oh, I need to probably go over to fucking Seraphon, dumbass. I'm talking to myself, of course. Is if you want to be like the Fangs of Sotek or Dracothion's Tail, you have to be Starborn. So like depending on what, if you want to run a War Scroll Battalion, you have to choose between Starborn and Coalesced. So like I run Thunder Lizards, so like I have to be Coalesced. Like that's just how it is.
You're locked in place.
To be fair, I'm totally cool with that because Coalesce are pretty fucking lit.
Big lizard.
But that's the difference. It's basically where the Starborn chill up in heaven, and aren't really permanent and are basically just dinosaur demons. The Coalesced exist permanently on the ground, and they are kind of like one with nature and the earth and shit, and they
Get out of my forest type of thing.
Boonji sticks. So next is I'm gonna go over. Ironically, I'm gonna go over briefly because it's worded very complicatedly. When realistically, what it is next is the constellations, and the constellations are like kind of akin to like storm hosts, kind of akin to what you said, slaves of darkness. Whereas like the constellations are like mini civilizations, like each among the Seraphon, like each constellation has like its own way of forming combat, its own markings and things like that. And like big constellations can have like multiple temple cities in it, where smaller constellations are led by like smaller temple cities. But basically every constellation is kind of like its own little like city or own little town with its own little like culture and like markings and whatnot.
And the big reason I make I was saying earlier before we started, the big reason I was saying that these don't really compare to storm hosts is that a storm host ultimately answers to Sigmar. And while they might have different styles of fighting, they're still very much going to fight in very similar ways. Like your paladins are going to be used for paladin things, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. And you might have different cultures and whatnot, but it's still ultimately all going to focus around, the worship of Sigmar. And they're still going to be very tight-knit communities. They're going to have a lot in common, blah, blah, blah. Whereas these constellations, they are, from best we can tell, they very much are civilizations in and of themselves. They're very isolated from each other.
They
and
serve that slan.
They answer only to their own slans. They don't answer.
They are all like a link back to Azir as well.
Can a constellation have multiple slans?
Yes, I believe so. I also think that some smaller constellations don't have to have slans. I think some of them could have like the super skinks, like the Starseers.
Yeah, because I know the Starseers are used to extend the range of what a slan can, like, for the Seraphon to actually just be physical when they're Starborn. So you can run a Starborn list without a slan and still be actually lorically correct. Because a lot of times those slan are like, I am deep in thought and I need you to go take care of something.
Yeah, and the big thing to remember is that, like, the constellations do vary in size. Like they can I think like the bigger constellations up in Azir have like one like grand city temple and then have multiple other ones.
Yeah.
And I think multiple Slan can exist in a constellation if it's big enough, but only one commands. I think it might just be one Slan per because there are multiple, but I'm not entirely sure on that. And yes, that's basically kind of like how the like culture divides when they're not like in the mortal realms fucking shit up. And as far as coalesced constellations go, is basically like you have the temple city or a couple temple cities that landed in one particular area and they kind of exist together.
Yeah.
So now something that you told me, Mitchell, that was pretty cool is how Lizardmen are born. So where in the world that was what I believe to be true is that the spawning pools were kind of like genetic soup that could be tampered with. That's
yes.
How,
with the Age of Sigmar, it's actually it's kind of shows how the Slan actually have a very lonely existence, because all of the Seraphon that are actually born, all these Saurus warriors, all these skinks, they're not actually like they're not born. They're demons, but what they really are is they're the actual memories of the Slan, of the like the skinks or the Saurus warriors, that they have the idea of what that person was, so they make they make their memory into a reality of what for that Saurus warrior.
Yeah, because basically how Lizardmen are born through Slan, they kind of acts like a Gestalt consciousness.
Yeah, but this is the reason why the Saurus Guard are very important is like the Slan knew them by name. They have a stronger memory,
so
of
they
them.
can imagine them perfectly.
So yes, and so they have a much more of a personality. Like when it comes to the other Saurus, they're not going to have such of a strong personality.
I'm assuming the other Saurus, if they get a personality, it's because they like grow one as they fight and don't die.
Yes,
but they don't pop out of the spawning pool of like memories or anything because the Slan didn't know much about them. But the Eternity Warden and the Guard, like the Slan knew them so personally that they might pop out and be completely like the ones that like they were before they died with all their memories.
Yes, and since they're that like they know them by name, like of what their name was, no other Slan can actually reproduce that Saurus Guard
to that like perfect to that like
no just in general like another Slan wouldn't know them, so they just become a Saurus warrior if they tried to based off of that memory.
So what I'm hearing is that there's a chance my boy Nakai could come back
if he was very close with a Slan.
Wait, does that mean that like I wonder if Slan could birth other Slan that way, like if the memory was strong enough, like if a Slan could could Croak bring back Mazamundi? I wonder. Mazamundi was big boy Slan from World That Was that died. He got done dirty.
We are going. This is not going to turn into a conspiracy podcast. At this point of an hour and 53 minutes.
It's about to be 52.
Yeah, we're not going into that, but yes. That's my opinion only. That something Games Workshop would have, because can a Slan just continue to make more Slan?
Do you want to know something that's cool though, and that because of me learning this makes me no longer angry about the models? So for a long time, like a Saurus Sunblood, it's basically I think it's basically just the model.
You okay there, buddy?
I had a burp. I think a Saurus Sunblood, the model is basically a copy of a named Saurus warrior from the World That Was. I forget his name. I think it was I forget what it is.
Yeah.
And then a Saurus Old Blood, another unit, basically like one of the Saurus generals. It is a copy of
Nakai?
Not Nakai. Fuck, I used to have these names.
We haven't played Total War in a hot minute.
Basically, like a couple of these models, they are literally copies of named models from the World That Was. But now it makes sense, because if the Slan are making these Saurus and shit from memory, what if they're just remembering the great heroes from the World That Was, which is why they look like them?
I would just like to state, all of Seraphon is just Slan and their imaginary friends.
It's really sad. Well,
it's a very sad
existence. I'm
existence.
Fall back to the beginning of this episode when Dracothion sensed nothing but loss and rage, and then saw what happened to the World That Was through the memories of the Slan, and that's pretty fucking depresso.
It's sad, very sad.
Yeah. Ironically, when it comes to talking about like the lore and stuff about the Seraphon, there's not a whole lot, because kind of like Flesh and Quartz.
Are you telling me that? And we have reached an hour and 53 minutes into this episode?
No, I
and
mean,
there's not a lot of lore.
I mean, like, lore is in, like, what they've done in AOS.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they fought some battles and whatnot, but like, this goes back to, like, because the Seraphon are so far-reaching in their lifespans and whatnot, that they don't have a very strong presence in AOS.
They don't want to do... If they're not going to do something... unless it actually benefits.
Yeah, and because they live for so fucking long, they're like, yeah, we'll come down like maybe once every 100 years to do something. Maybe.
Oh, I forgot
to
say this about the Starseers. What Starseers actually help the Slan do is because the Slan see some like only just in like decades and whatnot. It's hard for them to see what's going on in the present with the Starseers.
Unless it's like fucking huge.
Yeah. The Starseers help them see what's going on in the present, and the Starseers will make the decisions based off what's actually currently going on and what needs to go on.
If they need to wake the Slan up, like, hey, this is happening, and
not even that, is like, hey, if we need to retreat right now because it's not happening, that's a Starseer decision.
That's really cool. That's really cool.
So the Slan, they're not really in the present. It's the Starseers who really are.
But yeah, so like as far as like lore and like what they've done in AOS, it's actually pretty small because like there are some very important battles they fought, but like it's nothing like the Stormcast, who are basically constantly at the forefront of fucking chaos or whatever.
Well, there is a story,
like the orcs, who are an ever-growing threat of destruction or Nagash or anything.
Yeah, there is a story of the first time that Seraphon actually fought
with Stormcast.
It's just like the Stormcast were fighting Khorne, and the Seraphon were just, we're going to join in. And they didn't even say a word to each other because the Seraphon saw the Stormcast fighting chaos and go like, mutual friend, yeah. Like, we have a mutual enemy. We're not going to fight you.
The Seraphon looked at Stormcast and went mood kindred and then started fucking up the chaos demons with them.
And they didn't even say a word to each other. They just knew exactly what needed to be done because they are such proficient fighters.
That's amazing.
And then when when that battle was done and the Seraphon just went blue into the sky,
they turn into like motes of light or prismatic light.
The Stormcast just raised their hammers and be like, yes, we love you.
They're like, yeah, we're your upstairs neighbors that never say hi.
Yep.
Also, and this kind of plays into like the fact that the Seraphon are almost never seen because of like how they think and how they interact with the mortal realms. They're basically seen as like reptilian gods by like more primitive societies that aren't like in the fold of like say the Sigmar or the Stormcast. They're just seen as gods because like they're heralded by falling stars, and basically like you see them maybe once every like 300 years.
Yeah, beautiful. It's for how little lore this race has.
It's really cool.
It is a very interesting society of how they work. Like, their inner workings are very interesting.
And they definitely GW did a really good job of like cultivating this air of mysticism about them.
Yeah. Because
like you just never fucking see them, and when you do see them, they're just so like alien, and their technology is so advanced. Everything about them is just like magical god shit. And then you see undead toads moving mountains and dropping them on people, or setting an entire army ablaze with mystic fire, or conjuring meteors from the sky. It's just, they really are probably the most alien faction to everyone else in AOS, because you just never see them. When you do, it's like, yes, laser beams, dinosaurs, and meteors, and then they fuck off.
In a realm with infinite snakes.
Within a realm of infinite snakes.
There's a lot of...
Yeah, so...
My avatar destruction.
I think that is about it for them, actually.
Oh my. Want to talk about something for 3 minutes to make it a 2-hour episode?
Bet.
Okay. Hey Philip, how are you doing over there? The episode's about over. Want to say anything?
I'm like trying not to fall asleep over here, and I am sorry.
Like, you were falling asleep on the floor.
Philip is a tired boy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think next episode we kind of talked about possibly doing God Beasts, maybe.
Yes.
Well,
probably.
At the beginning of this podcast, oh fuck, we're coming up on a year soon, in like a month or two.
Really?
January, February, March, April, May. We're in April, right?
If it was a year, we would have 24.
May, June. I think we started in June, like mid-June.
June, July. I think we started in July.
Well, I can actually check real quick. Off to Podbean.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we started July. So yeah, but no, we're getting closer to a year. That's pretty interesting. I think we might do a really big FAQ for that.
Do we want to do a face reveal?
No.
You okay there? Oh my gosh, every living being in this house is in this room. This is amazing.
Yeah, July. We started in July. It was
Yeah.
July. So I think it was I think it was like mid-July. Or actually, when was our
Yeah.
first episode posted?
Just think about it. The only reason why this podcast started was because you were helping me move stuff from this apartment complex to the apartment complex in Bastrop. And now we're back at this apartment complex.
July 14th.
That's our 1 year anniversary.
Yeah, because we were in that car ride like the beginning of July or end of June.
And the reason why we're like, why is it so difficult to actually understand what's going on? What
It was
they
Malekith. Malekith pissed us off so goddamn bad.
if you're from the reason why that we always had like hashtag Malekith,
That's what started this podcast.
It
We were
was-
pissy as shit about Malekith.
yes, and we didn't realize it was like Malarian and all that because it's difficult to understand because there was like no good explanation. You just don't get in it. You just can't go like, what happened to Malekith? There's
Yeah,
no
it
like,
was-
hey, he combined with this
His dragon.
and-
You have to like deep dive into it.
Yeah.
No, we were driving from Bryan to Bastrop, and it was an hour and a half drive, and I read the lore for like an hour and a half, and we were just like, oh, so that's how it works. And then Mitchell looked deep into my eyes, and he said the one thing all millennials say at one point in time in their life. Hey, you want to start a podcast?
and here we are.
Here we are, shit posting consistently with fucking 10,000 downloads and a group of
Get that Liberator done.
get that. We have a group of fuck nuggets who follow us on Discord, and I love every single one of them, and they're glorious people.
I love them. All the pets.
Oh, I just want to say also I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong, but I think it's Johnny Doe. I think is the dude who I'm talking about in our Discord who posts like glorious ass memes. You keep that shit up. I am here for the memes. I love them. Also, your dog is amazing, and I love him too. And your other dog's amazing. I love her too. And I saw your cat's ass in a picture, and I love your cat too.
That's a little weird. Okay. But yeah, no, I think that's gonna be it.
All right, peace out, guys. I don't think we have any more announcements, so yeah, we'll see you in 2 weeks to talk about something, and we'll probably there'll probably be 10,000 downloads, and then we'll talk about the giveaway stuff.
Yeah.
Cool.
Join the Discord.
Yeah, join the Discord. Right.
Okay.
See y'all later.
Bye.